Hello, everyone. Tonight, this is Black Man Being Brutally Honest, and if I mean, man, as you can see on the screen, Kev plus Weekend Warrior. I am your Weekend Warrior. I'm on every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. So, for all of my new and existing subs, I thank you for your support. It's something that I am grateful for every day, and yeah. So, anyway, how's everyone doing tonight? Little rough climate out there. Yeah. But I tell you what, I'm glad it's getting warm again. It's I'm tired of cold weather. I've never been a real huge fan of it, and um, that's just what it is. So I hope everyone had a great week, and as always, always looking forward to doing these broadcasts. Oh, Zero, what's going on, guy? What's going on? Yeah. Yeah, and which reminds me of, is sometimes you need a little clarity. You know what I'm saying? Does not mean that they hate it, so to speak. Shout out to Cortez Smith. Thanks for joining the broadcast. Uh, yeah, I will sometimes get so involved and impassioned into something that I become an advocate for it. And one thing that I don't ever uh, want to ever catch myself doing is not exercising the amount of fairness that I need to exercise so I can see the situation clearly and for what it is. And it made me pose this question that that I've had for many of black men, and this is the subject of tonight's broadcast. Black man, where's your pride? Where's your pride, black man? I just don't see us as a group of men that has that much, especially in the way of solidarity. It's tough to come by a brother these days that is fully invested and impassioned as wanting to see black men as a group, as a collective, even though collectivism isn't really the best idea. I mean, because the collect a lot of people frown on collectivism because they feel like it causes groupthink, and groupthink in a group of men that are full of Highlanders, you know, that's going to be chaotic anyway. So I don't really see a whole lot of black men advocate for our betterment, our unity, you know, except for a few public figures, a few of them, very few, and a lot of the guys in the black manosphere. Not saying all guys advocate for the same message. I'm just saying that if you are a part of something called the black manosphere, then you should be here for the betterment and the progression of black men. You should be here for that. If you're in the black manosphere and you're not for the progression of black men, it means either one or two things. You're a you're a William O'Neill ass nigga, or you're a Highlander. Now, the reason why I say William O'Neill, before I started this broadcast, I just got done watching Judas and the Black Messiah. Yes, every time I see one of those kinds of films, it's like it does something to me. And seeing like a lot of and we're gonna deal with YouTube because I'm on YouTube. After seeing a lot of the BS broadcasts that were anti-black man and anti-black manosphere, uh, it's not going to be me jumping on those guys. Even though I saw one that basically said that the black manosphere is full of pedophiles. Yeah, that happened last night. About 80 people were watching it. And I started to wonder to myself, what do people get out of making false accusations? is false until you can prove it. I don't know. I guess some guy's going around here spouting that he wants a virgin, and someone tried to make that correlate with child molestation, pedophilia, saying that the only chance you really gonna get a virgin is like the people who rant about it being about pedophilia and child molestation. These people always seem to have the most vivid imaginations about how it's gonna go down. It's kind of like that person that puts up a picture of a 7-year-old girl in a swimsuit on the beach with her family, and then they put some question above it. Is it appropriate? Is this appropriate for a little girl to wear? Then every time I see a post like that on Facebook or anywhere on social media, my first thing is to always say, stop sexualizing little girls. What y'all say? But these niggas is weird out here. I say, yeah, there's some weird niggas, but you made the post. Is this appropriate? It's a fucking swimsuit. You know what the response that I got? Well, that's just because you're not seeing it that way because you're not thinking like a pedo. Hmm? Hmm? What? The fuck? I'm not supposed to think like a pedo. I'm not supposed to think like that. The fuck is wrong with people? You want me to come to a post where you're asking a question about a 7-year-old girl? She might have been 6. I'm just giving her 7. A little girl with a swimsuit, and you're going to put the question, is this appropriate? This was a female. No, the question, the only thing that wasn't appropriate is the question. That wasn't appropriate. Because when people are on the beach with swimsuits, my mind doesn't go to sex and molestation and all that other stuff. But guess what? Guess what? You got stupid motherfuckers on this platform that will pin that kind of bullshit on black men. The hell somebody gonna tell me, you're just not thinking like a pedo. Like, what the fuck? Think like a pedo? But then see, when I say stuff like that, it's like they'll pass over it, they'll gloss over it. But then I see several broadcasts calling black men pedophiles with no proof. None. No fucking proof whatsoever. Oh, we're just going to say, well, we're going to just think that we're psychologists. Oh, we're just going to break down what you say and we're going to decide whether it's pedo or not pedo. I mean, yeah, I understand. Dude wanted a virgin. That was a really far cry. You're probably not, in your age bracket, you're probably not going to find one. You'll be lucky. That's a fucking unicorn right there. You'll be lucky. And if you find a virgin that is of age, hey, great. Awesome. And if she's willing to sacrifice that for you, you better keep that motherfucker. But to try to sit there and it's like, okay, if one guy in this quote unquote manosphere says, I want a virgin, then stupid motherfuckers are going to paint the manosphere with a broad stroke. And to the guy who says the guys that say they want virgins, even though they probably put their dusty dick in everything, good luck with it. But without any solid proof, that's just stupid. And also that is called slander. People like that should be ostracized. No matter what. If you sit up here and you're taking something like sexual deviancy and you're making a joke out of it, even though there are real pedophiles out here, although there are real child molesters, there are real rapists, real, and it's a very real problem out there in the real world, but you want to throw up false flags because you want to be spiteful, then you are just as bad as the people who perpetrate it. Because what you're doing is you're taking the energy from investigating the real ones just to go along with some dumbass lie. Shout out to Ralph Pride. yeah, yeah, I know where your pride is. It's your last name. but thanks for stopping by. Shout out Cortez Smith. LOL, a virgin in 2021, a female virgin. yeah, but see, here's the thing: the anti-manosphere, the anti-black men, the feminists, the haters, they take a statement from one guy and then they try to paint it like, oh, okay, he's a pedo because yeah, the only way you're gonna get a virgin if they're a little kid or something. And the passport bro stuff, that's another issue. I feel like people get passports to travel. I mean, if you want to do sex tourism, wrap it up, whatever. It says a lot about you, but wrap it up. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't gonna hate, dude. If you have a good time, I ain't gonna hate. Me personally, for those guys, I wouldn't treat it like the end all be all. But yeah, you're gonna get knocked because guess what? Black people do not like each other for real. I sat here on a broadcast weeks ago and said I don't like 95% of y'all. 95%. And I know that's just a far-reaching number. I know that is. But look at some of the fuck shit we put each other through. Like, seriously. Seriously. The answer, that's the answer for most people, slander. So I got my ask again. Where's your pride as a black man? When somebody starts talking about black men, what do you do? Do you try to put up a kind of a debate? Do you put up do you put up some kind of rebuttal? Or are you the kind of nigga that says, "Oh, that ain't me"? When you say black men are like that, that ain't me. So they ain't talking about me. If it don't apply, let it fly. Those are the words that a lot of bitches, a lot of bullies, a lot of jackasses use it just to get out of accountability for fucking with you. If it don't apply, let it fly. I was like, well, don't have the audacity to say the shit in the first place. If you're going to make a glaring criticism about a group and, black women know all about this, it is up for debate, period. It ain't like, you can't be a chicken shit and back out of the conversation once you make a strong implication about a certain archetype. That archetype is going to come out there. Nobody has a problem with them Pookie types defending Pookie. Yeah, that's that. See, and yeah, this is another question. Why do we all when we have these talks about black unity and black pride? Why do we always defend the worst archetypes? We defend the thought. We defend the flamboyantly alphabet person, and we defend the Pookie. Even, and I'll give you another example. Even as far as education and who's educated, and this is a gender thing, we call the women the most educated. We commend them. We love them. We adore them. We say, you go, girl. We say black men are lames. We shit on their success. We shit on black men's success. And I've heard sisters come to me and say, hey, you know what? I've had problems with, people in my race coming and thinking that I'm some uppity Negro because, I'm educated. So I know those are their sisters that are like that. I know that there are sisters that go through those problems. But still, as a heterosexual, educated black man, you got a lot to deal with. And the resolve you carry throughout your lifetime is how you're going to be able to deal with it. Just have a little pride for yourself. Don't act like every time. And I'm getting around more and more of these people. Zero. Underdog fallacy. Struggle means you're a better person, even if that struggle provides no social, economic, or common sense benefit for self or community. Yeah, I remember when I was younger, a girl asked me would I buy a whole entire wardrobe from Walmart? I was like, no. I will buy t-shirts, maybe a ball cap, but not my whole wardrobe because sometimes you want a suit or something, and you can't get no suit from Walmart. And and like it or not, we're superficial as hell. So we're gonna stick around name brands and things that act nice. You know what this girl told me? I don't want no uppity Negro. I don't like no. I'm like, huh? In order for me to get a man, he got to shop at Walmart. And you probably won't like that was back in like 1996 or 97. You probably won't hear that shit in 2021. And I know it sounds ridiculous because it does. It is ridiculous. Yeah, and I don't mean to make it just about females, but let's. This is kind of females and males on our end. We think just because a person is from the hood that they're more black than people who aren't from the hood. And I ain't got nothing against hood people. And I've said this before. I ain't got a problem with hood people. It's fuck boys I got a problem with. It's fuck ass bitches too. You ain't got to be that way. But they think you're from the hood that you somehow persevered as a black person. That if you're not from the hood, that you somehow had it handed to you and you have it easy. No, being black is a struggle in this country, no matter whether you're from the hood or you're from where I'm not even gonna say from a white neighborhood. You're just from a household where your family, your pops and your moms handle business. What's wrong with that? I always tell the story. I stayed in a regular house all my life. Like you know, at least like from my childhood, I felt like it was a regular house. Poldark whites thought it was a mansion. I was like, what? It's a one-story house. It's a four-bedroom house with an add-on for a den because my dad wanted a man cave. It's not a mansion. But by that same token, in that same era, when I got around black folks thought I stayed in a nice neighborhood. Like for some reason, like I was supposed to stay in a project or some lower income crap. And I ain't saying lower income crap because that's shitting on lower income people. Lower income does not mean that you're just dirt poor and you didn't try. So forgive me for that. But here's the thing. What used to be what used to be the kicker in all of that, the catalyst was the fact that I could say a complete sentence without breaking without breaking. I can say a complete sentence to where people can understand it. And I'm making it sound basic because that's how basic that shit was. So hmm, Nick Org. Every race, sex, cohort recognizes that there is a concerted effort to undermine the black man sexually. The vectors of attack are undermining authority, stigmatizing black men sexually, etc. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I was watching a video earlier, and I'm finna go into comic books real quick. There were some comic books that were going to be released by Marvel, but it was two in particular. We already discussed one like a few weeks ago. It was New Warriors. Yeah, where they just I don't know. They care more about checking off boxes than actually writing a good story, which is one of my main concerns about anything I've been a fan of for more than 6 months. But yeah, they finally released the book Children of the Atom. And what they did was it's kind of a woke book because they got female like, and I always say this is how they do us. This is how they do black men. Okay, with every one of these new stories that are coming out, the archetypes are this simple: either it's a lead white female, kind of a lead black female, uh, dorky white guy. The bad guy is always kind of an incel, you know. Um, and the black guys, they're either weak or they're alphabet. No, Ralph Pride, I was not saying I did not respect your name. Okay, my question is, where is a black man's pride? No, I'm not disrespecting your name, sir. So I wouldn't disrespect anyone that comes to these broadcasts anyway. I mean, unless you're being disrespectful, and you haven't been disrespectful, so I hope you're not taking things the wrong way. No, I have no. If that's your name, that's your name. That's the name you. That's the name your parents gave you. So I respect that. Just like my name is Kev. You know what? So I mean, don't take don't take that the wrong way. I just feel like that. Um, I just feel like that in general that black men, we do need to display a little bit more pride, especially when our reputations are being attacked. That's it. You know, it's nothing against you. In fact, this is the first time I've ever seen you. So, but getting back to the archetypes of what they're doing in the comic books, movies, all this stuff, it always seems to be white female lead. She might be alphabet, but she probably is alphabet. Black female lead. They always depict her as the strong type, and strong when being used for a black woman. I recommend black women be careful with that. They always have the nerdy, quirky, good white guy. Uh, they'll have probably a couple of more alphabet guys. And then the black guy they depict is either weak, servile, or, alphabet himself. Like I said, the villain is always some kind of incel. But that's how Children of the Atom is. Children of the Atom is a very lazy story. It's basically the X-Men, but they started out with different genders. Like Cyclops yeah, I mean, the X-Men still exists, but they talking about that. Well, the X-Men need sidekicks. It's like, are you stupid? When in the hell have the X-Men ever need sidekicks? But that's another that's another discussion, probably for our entertainment channel, the Black Dimension. Yeah, which I do have links to the Black Dimension in my community tab. So also for those of you watching, go ahead and you can go ahead when you have time, check out my community tab and look at the various posts, and you'll find our channel, the Black Dimension. But it's just like this with Children of the Atom, like with the new characters. Yeah, they got a female white lead that might be alphabet. I think she is alphabet. Then you got the black girl. Then you got the one quirky white guy that is part of that team. Then you got the black guy. He's I can't gauge him because they really didn't go into his character, but he's kind of a servile, speak when spoken to kind of guy. Which like, this is like, okay, this is why I'm not really mad with this. Number one, I'm not going to buy it. Number two, I feel like that if we want to reshape and change these narratives as black men now, and if we want our stories told a certain way, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to support the creators that are capable of delivering great shit, such as that. A black man can write a comic book, a black man can write a story, and, yeah, and we can write it to where, and we can write stuff like that to where, it suits us a lot better, you know. But I mean, it's just, I used to get mad about stuff like that, how society saw black men, but at the same time, if we know that's what it is, why would a person like me continue to act surprised when it happens? It's going to happen. The solution ain't like, and then a lot of people think that this is a solution to beg them to act right. No, that's not going to be the solution. The solution is to be proactive. But first, we got to have some pride in ourselves. All right, so let me check. All right, we got 16 watching. Hopefully the likes are matching up. I haven't really looked at it. I'm just talking right now. So let me get some shout outs. Okay. All right, we got Raven Knight. Raven Knight, I see you, Ralph Pride. Y Skinner Man Cave. Thanks for joining us again. Yeah, just just what does all of your pride mean to you? I mean, do we have, and I'm asking this to the chat, are we a people who have pride in our people? Yeah. Okay, 13 likes, 19 watching. Okay. All right. If please hit that like button because algorithm loves a like button. Raven Knight, hey man, I'm drinking. Yeah, I just had me a shot of Maker's Mark. So I mean, about to get to this bottle of Arcaneers here in a little bit. But yeah, what does pride mean to you? I mean, are you happy to be a black man? I know I am. I mean, I don't have a choice. Yeah, Raven Knight. Our pride now remains in our strength, and it has to. And you missing B. It has to be more than fetching a ball. Yeah, I get that. I get that. But yeah, I said early in the broadcast that I before I started, I just got through watching Judas and the Black Messiah, and I don't know, I didn't feel well. Yeah, the last time I felt that kind of outrage was when I watched 12 Years a Slave. Birth of a Nation, I would say I was like, I wasn't as mad with Birth of a Nation as I was with 12 Years a Slave. Judas and the Messiah, I was upset, but I'm glad the narrative was kind of painted how it was painted for the film. Uh, 12 Years a Slave, not so much. But with Judas and the Messiah, I'm like, wow. It's like, and spoiler warning, all this man had to do was do his time for stealing that car. It was, to me, it was the ultimate lack of accountability that I have ever seen. This dude did that to save his own fucking neck. Spoiler warning. He did what he could to save his own neck. Now, at the end of the film, they showed a clip from Eyes on the Prize 2, where he did his first and only interview. Fun fact, and I'm saying it's fun because if you watch that film, you probably felt the same way I did. Fun fact, when that interview aired that night on Martin Luther King Day, he killed himself. Yeah, you'll never live down being a piece of shit. Never. I bet before he killed himself, he wished he had went and did that time and been accountable for what he did. Instead, he got used as a fucking pawn. I mean, seriously, how much lower can you get knowing that you're a pawn? He knew he was a pawn. He knew he was a pawn, and he's got deeper and deeper into that shit. I'll tell you one thing though, What made me mad about the film was the fact that I had a conversation with an older gentleman previous to that, and he was telling me about those times. And really, he gave me a bit more perspective on the history of Donald Trump because we got into that conversation. I still can't understand why, if you're concerned about racism, why you would vote for Joe Biden. But hey, that's the conversation me and him were having. But as with disagreements, there was a little like, especially with older people and this young generation of today. I'm not saying that older people know everything and know how to tell you to carry on better in life, because a lot of young people these days are a lot more successful than the older people are in today, or were a lot more successful than they were. But that doesn't mean just because you're more successful you get to disrespect your history. So I always keep that in mind with older people. And like, even when my grandparents were alive, they used to tell me all kinds of stories that would just upset me. And like, I mean, that it'll hit me right in the chest. So, and I'm not trying to use this as virtue signaling. But when I come to this platform and see how many people are actually anti black man, which in turn is anti black, whether you like it or not, because you got this new thing on social media. Because let's tell the truth, social media is making a lot of us stupid. Not really making us stupid, but it's perpetuating stupidity. It's I don't even really go on Facebook anymore, because I mean, y'all may, like, a lot of people may see one thing. I see a lot of anti-black man bullshit. I see a lot of attempts to tear down the at least a heterosexual black man, and I don't see any kind. And then people make me fucking sick when they put up a picture of a black couple talking about black love in a troll Facebook group. And I understand it's trolling, but what the fuck, you don't care about black love. Indigenous TV, what's going on, brother? Or DJ B side 1965, what's going on? Shout out to everyone in the chat. Why Skinner Man Cave? Yeah, William O'Neill was a snitch. Like I said, he should have paid his own fucking price. That's all it was. He should have paid his own fucking price. But you know what? Movies like that tell me that there's a lot of these niggas out here. They like to paint us like we're William O'Neill in the black manosphere, because we don't mind telling you what the fuck's on our mind. And I'm not the spokesperson. I can only speak for myself to a certain extent, but from the conversations that I've observed in this place, there's a lot of dudes in this place that won't mind telling you the truth. Period. I mean, you can't even say that's your truth if they back it up by facts. But yeah, back to that social media thing. I don't know. I don't even think I can. I don't even think I can. Every time I look at Facebook, I just get more and more disappointed. And there's always wiser people in my life to say, Kev, you shouldn't let that kind of stuff get to you. Why worried about it? You're gonna hit an early grave. I was just saying, I can't live without meaning. I can't do it. I can't take a servile position. I can't be quiet when I see my group getting attacked. I can't. Courtney Woody, shout out. Appreciate the kind words. I see a lot of new people, man, and it's just like it is like and you know what humbles me? It's like when people tell me stuff like, "Man, I've been keeping up with you for weeks, man," and I decided to come here and speak up. Like, dude, let me tell you something. Like, that's rewarding. That people will be able to be comfortable speaking their minds on platforms like such as these, and I'm open to it. And you ain't even gotta agree with everything I say. You ain't even got to do that. So, yeah, I appreciate that. It's like I like affecting change that is positive. You know. So I'm about to open up. I'm about to open it up in a little bit. I'm about to open up the panel in a little bit. Cause I mean, it's I don't know. Because after the conversation and after watching Judas and the Black Messiah, I was like, how are we gonna? How do you come back from something like that? How do you, as a group of men, every time? I mean, I'm telling you, every time there's some progress, then the shit got to be reset. And then it's like I would like to think that the person or persons that's gonna destroy everything doesn't look like me, but a lot of people, a lot of those dudes do. A lot of these dudes are William O'Neill out here. Instead of, I mean, it's much easier to be sometimes, not all the time. I don't know, fuck. I don't know. I'm just thinking about that film, and it has an effect on my optimism. It's like, will black men ever be not, if not united on one accord? Because I'm not even looking for that. That's wishful thinking. Let's just go and face that. You will never get 100% of everybody on one accord. But, if you got enough people on it, then you might be able to get somewhere. But the things that I talk about, they all have meaning. Like with the Highlander complex. It's like one of the things that would probably kill any efforts for unity is Highlander complex. There can be only one. And I talked about that 2 nights in a row because I do feel like that is sort of a problem. That Highlander shit. It ain't about black men, it's about me. I stand at the top of this mountain. I actually humble myself enough to fight the Highlander in me. Because I feel like that there's a little bit of there too, a little bit of that too. Let's see. Indigenous TV. Let me read this. As long as coochie and money exist and are in easy access, black men will never unite. Yeah, that's what happened to William O'Neill. I mean, well, money and freedom, not really money and coochie, but money and freedom. That was what he was. But I mean, I don't even think that nearly is the point that you're trying to make. The point that you're trying to make is, yeah, it is exactly that. Is when it's money, it's a dick measuring contest. Even in the gym, not literally a dick measuring contest, which is probably be a bad analogy to use around a bunch of sweaty men trying to work on their muscles. But yeah, on the football field, I'm sure there are there are team members that are jealous of the quarterback. I'm sure on the Chicago Bulls, the guy who rode the bench probably wishes that he was in Jordan's spot. Any kind of way. Probably hated on the man a little bit. Shit. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be the best or wanting to be at the top. But what good is that if that's going to kill progress? Okay. Yeah, okay, y'all started to talk about like pussy shit like that. Now, listen up, fellas. I was kind of raised to believe that your validation. I mean, I don't believe it now. I believe in being a man first and foremost. But I was raised to believe in a lot of circles that pussy validates the man, basically. That that how much sex you have is how cool you are. I mean, grown men, not grown men, like young men, they always love to come back and tell their little sex stories. I got this, I got that, I got her, I got, I got her last night, or whatever. Then I got other one the other day. They love coming back telling that stuff. And you know why a lot of guys learn, like a lot of guys do that, is because they want to look like they're the coolest fucking thing smoking. Now let's turn that around a little bit. Be the guy that isn't getting any. And a lot of people think that the guy that doesn't get any is problematic because he's going to get bitter and he's going to he's going to get mad and he might do something weird and creepy or some shit like that. That's just some social media fake outrage nonsense. What really happens is the guy's ridiculed by his friends for not getting any. They respect that guy less. They don't care what the motivation is. He may not even be an incel type. He's just not. He probably could just be not very good with women. He might just score every now and again, not score quite often like some other guys. But yeah, I used to have friends like when I was going through dry seasons, seasons. Yeah, it's like, and this is back way back in my younger day. I would get looked at as kind of lower because I wasn't cracking as many females as my friends were. And I'm using the term friend very loosely here. But other dudes in your circle of friends, especially, and I'm not saying this is all circles of friends. I'm just saying in the circles that I dwelled in. If you were the guy that did not get any, then the guys in the group think they can try you in other ways. And boy, they got rude awakenings quite often. I'll just say that. But let me read Robert Nelson. Shout out to Robert Nelson. Let me read your comment. Kevin, about that film, remember, William O'Neill was 17 years old, and the actor playing him is 32. The real one was only 20. Fred Hampton was 21. Both of them was kids when you think about it. Yeah, kids by our standards, kids by our age. Yeah, those guys were half my age. And I think what you are saying is, yeah, Robert, you're a good dude. You really are. And what you're trying to, I think what you're really trying to say is that kids sometimes do desperate things. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's just like back then with black people, and I'm not a psychologist or anything like that or a shrink, but back in those days, if you were a black person, you got 50 years of experience in a decade just because of what you've had to go through and what you had to endure as a black person in those times. And they knew what was up. They like every one of them every day of their lives got some form of education into how things were. So what I'm saying is 17, 18, 20, 21, that's old enough to know from right and wrong. I get it, but then again, like the ramifications of that. But yeah, yeah, speaking in today's terms, yeah, those are children to us. Those are children to us. Yeah, those are children. William O'Neill technically was a child. to us. But still, I can't give him too much of a pass. I can't. It's just, it's that simple. But okay, all right. Let me get back to a what I heard. Like I heard this another night on a broadcast. Like one of those adages that are just getting so old. Like somebody was saying that there are actually some guys in the space that are still angry with women who rejected them in high school. I'm gonna tell you how many times I've heard a story like that of a guy who is upset about what happened to him in high school in this space. And you go ahead and guess the number. But I'll give you a clue. It was a content creator. I'll give you a clue. It was a content creator that was in this chat earlier. Yeah, zero. I have heard zero stories about any brother still being mad about what happened to him in high school. That's a bold-faced lie. That's a bold-faced lie. And if it ain't a lie, put the damn link in the chat and give me the timestamp. Like, seriously. Yeah, put the link in the chat and give me the timestamp. Since there are so many of these conversations, you should have anybody who believes that should have no problem finding that link. That's a special challenge to whoever's watching. Put the link in the chat and give me the timestamp so I can hear this sucker ass nigga say, which probably doesn't exist, that he's upset because he got rejected in high school. I'm just gonna start asking those questions from now on. Every time somebody throws some garbage out there, I'm gonna like saying that the manosphere is full of pedophiles. First question I got for any of those people: where is the broadcast where this guy from the Black Manosphere said, "Hey guys, let's rally up and go fuck some kids"? You can learn a Killer Cam. What's going on, man? He said, "Rejection is God's protection." Man, you ain't never lied. Shoot, like I said, well, here's why I don't hang on to the rejections. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something. This is not me being spiteful. This is me telling people, don't get mad when somebody rejects you. That's probably for a reason. That's probably for a reason. And I'm going to tell you, if you're out there in the dating market, you're going to get rejected a lot of times. You can be like one of these guys out here that think they got you thinking that he can get every woman he want to. That's bullshit. But I'll tell you, it was a chick I dated at one of the jobs I worked at, but she rejected me for another guy in there. I mean, did me all kinds of ways. Just like, hey, no, not all kinds of ways, but it was just like she withdrew and she wanted, it was like she was trying to get me to read her damn mind. And I'm not a mind reader. I just say what out my mouth what I want. And there's no psychic ability I'm trying to exercise to figure out how to get to you. Either you like me or you don't. And I've been like that for a while. So I guess she decided she didn't like me anymore because I was so damn straight up. 2 years later, and her dating someone twice her age, she gained about 60 pounds, and she was 5'2". And I'm not saying that she was going to gain that weight anyway, even if I had succeeded with her or not. It's just that her attitude soured on me, and 2 years later, there you go. So I wish anybody like that all the best of luck in the world. I have no malice toward that person. All I'm saying is some bullets. But even though you can't dodge bullets, God will get you to dodge those bullets for you know. So yeah, another one. Ended up a multiple time baby mama, straight up girl, cute, and yeah, this was actually in high school. And no, I wasn't upset that I got rejected. It was more like one of those oh well rejections. I mean, I did like her. I did feel like that maybe I needed to do a little bit more. Then I was like 18 at the time. Maybe I need to lift a little bit more weight, run around the block a little bit, get a little chiseled or something. Learn some good jokes. That's when I'll take a look at me when stuff like that happens. I don't blame her. Everybody's not gonna like you. And then she ended up a multiple time baby mama. So hey, wasn't for me. Even if what about the first one that got her pregnant? Then to say, hey, you know what? That would have been that. Another girl, big as fuck. My junior high crush. I had you ever had a crush on somebody for 3 years? I was like, damn, she a baby mama now. Not saying that she can't get married or anything like that, or she's been rejected, or that which led her to being a baby mama, or anything like that. And on the fact, and then plus the fact that she was really nasty toward me in the end, and that was really the only thing that had made me sad. I sat around during the beginning of my summer that year, and for 2 days, I was like, oh, poo, poo, poo. I was upset then. But having a resentment, oh, that bitch rejected me. Fuck her. Fuck all women. No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. It took me about 2 days of a 3-year crush to get over it. And 2 days compared to 3 years, very short amount of time. And this was going into ninth grade. But here we are years later, and she's a baby mama. And you know what? I'm not even mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. It's like I'm not mad at her. I'm not even mad at her for what she said. If anyone to blame in this situation more so, I would probably say it was me at the time because I was a young, very inexperienced, naive little person back then. you know. But it made me stronger. I'm still standing, still strong. Yeah. I mean, hell, it's like for those guys who everyone says exist, the guys that got rejected in high school, they mad at women, so they coming to YouTube and slapping everybody around with words that are more than 2, 3 letters in them. See, that's the thing. It's like, okay, even if they are mad that they got rejected in high school, why are you so threatened by them? You don't want to keep cussing them out and calling them incels. Do you think you're making things better? Like, do you really think that calling somebody an incel is going to solve their problem if that is such the case? Charles 91771 and he says the females who turned me down all ended up being ran through by a bunch of dudes and ended up becoming single mothers. I mean, it happens. Yeah, it's like God telling you, and and I keep in mind that not everyone that watches me believes in God, but it's like we just gotta face a lot of these females are problematic. It is what it is. And I'm gonna refer to a video I made a while back. A lot of these girls like to be baby mamas and not wives. They want all the perks of being a baby mama, but none of the responsibility and the teamwork it takes to be a wife. And the submission. Oh, we love bringing up that word submission. They want submission. They expect submission. Are you a fucking mind reader? If you don't want to submit, that's fine. But hey, stay in baby mama hell. I mean, it's like I'm not yeah. Another thing, black man, don't negotiate submission. Don't do that. Don't negotiate submission. Don't do it. Don't negotiate. And most of all, don't negotiate respect. Yeah, Zero, when you say that, you're preaching to the choir. Any dude that makes an assumption that you're some incel shit just because you can speak, but at the same time trying to sell mouthpiece, fuck them. Just assume that they're bitches. No assumptions here. I'm already there. I'm already there, man. I mean, it's yeah, it's that like a lot of people in this sphere do get called incels and do say that we're just mad because we got rejected. Everyone's been rejected by someone. No one has a perfect record. Raven Knight. And once jungle fever began, pussy never became a problem, save for birth control. Boy. Anyway, I'm gonna open this panel up. I'm going to open the panel up. Come up if you like. If you don't, I'll just continue talking. But kudos to any of these content creators out here. It takes, even if you're just getting on StreamYard and talking, it takes a lot to do that and to keep people interested. It does take some talent. So if you're just doing streams or you are creating edited videos or whatever, or you're doing both, kudos. It is very difficult and it's very time consuming. Um, yeah, and if it's easy for you as a content creator, uh, teach us how. That's all I'm saying. So let me see. There it is. There's the link. And it ends in motherfucker 6. I had a link, a StreamYard link last week that ended in SEX. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, tell the truth, black man. Where's your pride? Where is it? Where is it? Are we afraid to show it? I mean, let me talk about this too. Okay, I understand that a lot of us have had difficulties with blacks. I've had people, I've had people tell me, when I start saying the word black man, and I honestly will tell you, when I used to say black man, like, and this was like even as short as a few years ago, a lot of people start rolling their eyes and becoming a little bit uncomfortable with, putting those two words together. As of late, that shit's been getting a lot worse. Go start talking about black men around just pick a random group of black people and put the words black man together and watch the response you'll get. It'll be something special. What's going on, Roger? The Roger Report. Okay, he jumped on
What's
the
happening?
broadcast.
What's happening?
Yeah, what's up, man? Long live the habitual life.
Long live, brother. Long live. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I came in earlier. Had to dip out for a minute. I came back and I heard you saying something about folks saying that we mad about stuff in high school or something, and folks mad calling us incels or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because we making content. Is that what I heard? They don't like us.
Well, I mean, hey, can you hit that mute? I can hear myself.
Oh, my bad, my bad. You know what? Go ahead. This should be good right here. I had it up
Yeah.
louder than I normally do.
Okay. Yeah, man. But no, I was listening to a broadcast the other night. One of the young ladies, I think I know you know who I'm talking about, was saying that there are guys in this space that say that they're upset because they got rejected in high school. There are actually guys like that. So what I did was I pretty asked asking anybody that watching if they've seen that broadcast, or even if they watch it the replay later on, they hit the
Mm,
thumbnail with Chrissy Teigen looking like a bitch. I'll say put the link in the chat or put the link in the comment section with the timestamp, and I want to know who these guys are that are saying stuff like, man, I remember that bitch Tina in high school, man. Remember Tina with the big old booty? He's like, yeah, man, I remember Tina with the big old booty. Man, fuck that bitch, man. Shit,
Okay.
I even
Okay.
bought her a cream soda. Like they act like is like that. No,
So,
nigga,
so,
stop.
so let me get this straight. There was some woman who was talking about men having a problem with girls in high school, and they still mad about it.
Yeah,
Some woman said
zero.
this.
Zero. A lot of guys say that too, though.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of these dudes' main argument is that we're mad because we got rejected in high school. I mean, people will say that on panels like all day, every day.
Now I hear you. I hear you. And you know
Now,
what?
now, 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 for real, though. Next time, next time I see it, I will put a timestamp and a link in the chat for somebody. So I won't sound like I'm good, some complete BS. But go ahead,
Yeah.
Roger.
Nah, I'm just wondering. The lady who said it, was she doing something by herself, or was her husband with her?
I don't think she's married.
Oh, what about her boyfriend?
She
Was
might
he
have a
there?
boyfriend. She might have a boyfriend, but
Did you see him?
no,
Was he there
no,
talking?
no. Let me offer some clarity. This was a YouTube broadcast.
Nah, I get you. I'm just wondering. I mean, whoever said YouTuber, you know what I'm saying? Because I honestly don't know and don't even care who it is. I'm just wondering, was their boyfriend or the fiance with them? That's all.
Uh, Not on the broadcast.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. But she think somebody's mad about some chick from high school. Okay. Yeah. This sounds totally asinine. Okay. All right. And did she get offer any information on where she came to this conclusion from, or was this just inside her own head? Kev, you good? Because I
Oh
don't hear
God!
nothing.
I'm sorry, man. The goddamn, I hit the mic
Mute
mute
button.
button. Yeah. But what
Yeah,
I'm saying is
no,
this
I
this
was
chick.
wondering. Did the chick say anything that was to make any type of? Did she make any credible statement of how she came to that conclusion outside of something in her own head?
No, the only thing she said, I've heard guys say this. That's all. That's all she said, and that's really the usual. They heard somebody say
Nah,
that.
you know what it is. You know what it is. I've heard people say that, and then when you crack them into a corner, the only thing you get from that is they mention obsidian for mentioning some girls he was not mad at, but some girls he didn't want to date. He was illustrating a point in the story about some people that in high school in the prom. Obsidian never said he was mad. He just said that people tried to push girls on that he didn't want to date. So if you put him into a corner, I bet you that's what they gonna go to. So basically, it's just another lie, you know. But then, as I've said before, black women gonna lie on black men, and they gonna lie to black men. That's what they're known for at the end of the day. And shout out to Sir Anthony and Kawafi. Shout out, you know what I'm saying, to the people in the chat. Appreciate y'all supporting the channel, my man. Gold Professor, what's going on, brother?
Yeah, go, Professor. Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it, and I do appreciate all of your support. He said supporting the channel, money for the plate. That is much appreciated. Once again, thanks, Gold Professor. And shout out to Sir Anthony as well. Um, yeah. Thank
Now
you
my,
for
my
joining us
question.
once again. Go ahead, Roger.
Oh yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. My question: the woman who said this is this the type of woman somebody want to you would know if I knew who it was, would I be trying to propose to her?
No,
Okay, I see where her problem coming from then.
I mean, how do I know? How do I know? Maybe you'll meet up with her. You'll have a coffee. You probably, she'll probably end your sentence. You'll probably end a sentence of hers. And yeah, you're smart. So who am I to say you wouldn't propose to?
I'm pretty sure you be safe. You go with your first answer. And then, that's what they say, man. You got to go with your first answer, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
God
but
talking to you something when you go
but
with your
but
first
but but
answer.
but to Zero's point, he's saying like, okay, let me read it. Just just so we can get the context correct. I'm not. Let me put it on the screen again. He says, I only care when the men say it because they enforce the shame through male social dynamics. To use a less fancy term, men shame each other by shitting on each other, and it's highly effective.
You know what? Interesting concept, but I don't. When I hear a man use shaming language toward another man, you know, I just look at a person who it's hard to say. It's hard to say what they are. Uh, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's most of these guys, they operate on trying to get a woman to like them. So if you're going against an unpopular opinion, or you going against an unpopular truth to make some woman feel comfortable, at the end of the day, you're trying to get some woman to like you. And if you got to come to social media to try to get some woman to like you, you know what I'm saying? That's it's almost the same as a woman putting her picture up, like, putting the picture up in the swimsuit so she can get likes on social media. It's the same thing. When you need validation, from random people on the internet, you know, it, it's hard for me to believe you think highly of yourself at that point. That's how I put it. It's hard for me to believe. I'm not gonna say, you don't think highly of yourself. It's just hard for me to believe. So that's how I see that. You know, but there are a lot of guys who've been raised by women and they make certain moves like women, so therefore they're gonna do certain things along that line. They're gonna do stuff to get likes. You know, and some of these men know what they're doing. You know, and there's men out here that want likes on social media.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got two new people up here. Zero. A lot of you know Zero already. But Zero, first time here. Thanks for coming by. And Lion Minilink. That's okay. You are a new one. So what's going on, fellas?
I've
Start
been here
with Z.
before.
Huh?
I've been here before.
Oh, on the panel
Yeah, last year.
last year.
Yep.
Okay.
With
Okay.
you, Roger, Donnie, a few other people.
Oh, okay. All right. What's going on? Share your thoughts.
Not much. I agree with Roger, but he kind of personalizing it. And that's like a lot of what goes on in this space as well. When people say, "Well, I don't do this, me," that's not the point. Like the validation is crazy effective. Like when people always talk about iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel, all that other stuff. That's what male shame and like the whole honor, like the reason we have systems in societies like honor and integrity and all the rest of it is because it's through weaponizing male competition. You want men compete over literally everything, and I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that. Literally everything. So what you do is you weaponize that because it's called male dominance instinct. It's biological and it's a survival mechanism. If we didn't have it, we wouldn't even be alive today. So basically, you weaponize men's competitive nature to basically like I'm more honorable than you because you can't give men an incentive to uphold a society because under normal circumstances they don't give a fuck. This is why tribes are the first forms of society. Men don't go past tribes unless they're forced to, and they're typically forced to by other men in competitive shit like honor and integrity and all the rest of it and morality and stuff like that. All the stuff we make up in society in order to keep it running. We have to compete with each other to be the best at those things or else you just don't have a society. And one of those things is shame. Men shame each other, women shame each other, men shame everybody. Men shit on each other in order to make each other better. You can't have somebody around you that can get you killed. You got to make sure that person is competent. The only way to make sure that person is competent is to make sure that person has both thick skin and the competency. So you challenge that person all the time. You cooperate with that person, but only after that person has proven themselves to be competent at something. That's when the cooperation comes in. But before that, we shit on each other, and we do it all the time. But with female validation dominating the space, men are competing over that. So all they do is shit on each other over female validation, literally every day, all day. To prove my point, the most popular person in the space right now, everyone's living vicariously through him talking shit to bitches. And that's not a knock on him. That's a knock on people around looking. They're just looking at him say, I told you you were this way. I told you you weren't shit. I knew it. See? And everybody's going, yeah. But no one's doing anything about it. They're just rooting. That's what we are right now. So yeah, this is why I say, like, when the men said, yeah, I have a problem with it. If whatever women say fuck, they're gonna do it anyway because their default position is that because they have pussies. Like, and they know that's the nuclear weapon. They know that's the nuclear option. So they're gonna default to that every single time. So that's the only reason I said that.
Okay, all right, Roger. Then we get the line middle link. Roger, you want to respond to that?
No, to tell you the truth, I agree with him for the most part because, or really for the whole part. At the at the end of the day, women have always tried to weaponize men a competitive nature against each other. It's just sometimes you got, as a man, you got to learn to not be a sucker, and that's just what it comes down to at the end of the day. If a woman can weaponize you against another man for a dumb reason, you a sucker at the end of the day, and suckers exist. That's just what it comes down to, and a lot of men would make a lot of sucker moves over some pussy that they may or more than likely will never get. That's just what a lot of guys do. And especially when you have men that weren't really raised by a father or their father just didn't really care. And let's keep it real. You got a lot of women out here picking men that don't want to be involved in their children's lives. And so those guys is probably where you're gonna have this coming from. You know what I'm saying? Most guys want to be a great father. I'm not saying that most black men who are fathers are not great, but you have women who intentionally pick bad men to be fathers. So their kids are gonna eventually grow up and act some kind of way. Would I expect men who come from strong fathers to act that way? No. You don't let a woman weaponize your competitive nature. No, smart men don't do that. That's just the way it is, and that's the way it's always been, and it's probably the way it's always going to be. Smart men do not become weapons for women over stupid reasons.
Well, that's the thing. Men are enforcing it.
Dumb men, sure.
No, all men. Society enforces that. When you say smart men, those are people who can see what's being done and then move away from it. Yeah, but for like general society, men enforce it. Well, when I say all of us, of course, we have the exceptions. Like you said, smart people who can see past it. Aside from that, all men enforce these norms. Like even the fact that women are picking these dudes, all of this shit is enforced by men because there's a male standard of dominance and shit, and it's a double-edged sword. First of all, it's biological. You have the biology part where women respond to the environment. So men try to use biology when it's convenient, right? We'll portray masculine behavior and traits or alpha behavior and alpha traits when necessary in order to get some pussy. And then after that, it's all, you're trying to cooperate with other men in order to play politics and move about the society. Women respond to the biology of the situation. They don't really give a fuck about the political moves of men behind the scenes and anything like that. They're just responding to cues that they see where dudes are trying to. Why do you think you got all these dudes in the space trying to sell, like hope in the form of game and shit like that? Because you need to put on that show in order to trigger like biological responses and shit. That's all it is when you look at it.
No, I agree that men are gonna definitely be competitive because that's just the nature of men. I'm just saying you start to sound silly when some woman is able to activate your competitive nature, and it's not even a woman that you actually looking to deal with. I can see if you was doing this for your wife, your girlfriend, Your fiance, I totally get it. You definitely want to look like the alpha male
But
amongst
that's a
other
person
men.
you've already met and made it with. I'm talking like
Exactly.
before you get to that point, men enforce all of this shit that women. So you'll have women saying shit, and then men will enforce it.
What? No, no,
That's
I'm not.
that's the
I'm not.
problem.
I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm saying, what I'm saying. At least the way I look at it, a woman will say certain things to try to get men to respond. I'm not going to pay attention to that. That's silly talk at the end of the day. 9 times out of 10, the woman is saying something that's stupid, silly, something men don't even need to pay attention to. I'm not going to react because of what some woman said. Usually women are come through the door lying anyway. So
Agreed. That's not agreed. And that's not the issue. What I'm saying is, you're right. I'm saying you're right. Whatever they say is like, fuck that. Fuck what you're talking about. However, the rest of the men, the majority of the men, typically are going to enforce that, and then the whole male dynamic shit kicks in, and then you're the outcast now. You're the one who doesn't fit into society. So now you got to play ball. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
yeah,
saying
I
it's
get you.
right. I'm not
I
saying it's
get
right. I'm just saying that's what happens.
you. Men are voluntarily become slaves to women, and that's a shame on his part. He looks dumb if he voluntarily become some woman's slave, because that's what it sounds like to me. At the end of the day,
All right, all right. Lion Menelik, what's going on? I'm gonna let you get in for a sec. What's going on? You got the floor.
No, I just want to, respond. I have a little different perspective. You know, my mom's side of his family is from East Africa, and father's like American. But but what I've noticed in particular here in the West, specifically black people living in the West. So and I think that what I noticed that a lot of dudes get their validation from you know um women, and it's like a lot of dudes still be acting like they're just getting out of like they're in high school or something, like there's a competition, like when I was in you know when I was in Ethiopia, nobody's talking about when I was there. It was the culture was like vastly different than it was from like here in America or other places. But I think what it was, I think here in Black American society, I think it's the culture is very matriarchal in that way. It seems to me that, like I said, a lot of dudes are basing their masculinity, from female validation, or everything's about like, oh man, you ain't no dude because I get this much, vagina. Everything's about like getting vagina, 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 vagina. Huh? Like dudes are acting like they you might as well live in one, like live in a vagina. I was like, they don't know. So it's like they put so much value on it, and like the whole game thing and stuff, and oh you don't have this thing about you couldn't get this thing because a game and all that type of thing. So I think that from my studies, from studying like history, I think it comes out of that, from like the 70s, from like that the pimp hole type culture, like from like hood culture or something like that. So I think that yeah, because like I think in other cultures, you're based off. I mean, like being a dude is not based on like just going around this how many chicks you ain't conquered. Is based on like character, like honor and other stuff. But here, I think here in American culture, because of like um everything is like a capitalistic side. Everything's about like desire, and everything's put on a pedestal and stuff like that. Where it's not it's not about developing the different like bonds, connections, and doing all this type of stuff. It's all about what you call it, self gratification and all that type of stuff. And I think that like a lot of dudes It's, black dudes feel like, they don't, all they got was, going for themselves is just, some vagina or whatever or something like that. It's the only thing that, it's not about like, nothing else. So, and I think a lot of, black dudes or black people in America are very reactionary and, just reactionary. And I think that, and I think that as far as the women, I think the women, because I mean, America is a very strange place in that sense. And I think that where basically like, like being a bad dude, or like a thug is uplifted or something like that. I mean, that's not, maybe like maybe happen in Latino culture, but other culture is not like that, where, being a, criminal or something that's uplifted or, that's associated with, masculinity. A criminal is just a criminal. Huh? So it's just, I don't know, it's very weird, So it's very, strange in that way. So I think that, yeah, and I think that a lot of um, the women or what they call it in this space, the gynocracy or the matriarchy, and I think a lot of dudes are, thinking in that, type of mindset, and I think that, yeah. So I mean, that's like some of the things that problems that I see. A lot of dudes, uh, it's a competition on stuff that don't even need to be a competition. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you ain't getting no trophy. Oh, I smashed 100, chicks, and I like, oh, go in my grave, yours, or something like that, and you got some trophy, a trophy in the form of a big vagina or something like that. I was like, so it's like I noticed that like where, I was from, just got off from BGS channel, and like, the whole thing with, well, I was hearing like Minister Jap, dude was, acting like a woman, buzzing out, oh, so these dudes going overseas, and he was just like spazzing out. I was like, like no, like why the hell does that, you care or something like, So it's like I don't know, it's just, it's strange.
Yeah, yeah, indeed, indeed. Okay, I got something I got to handle real quick. Look, Beta Male Terminator, what's going on? And were you just up here as hashtag divest is best?
No.
Okay, well that might have that. Okay, what's going on, Beta Male Terminator?
Long live the habitual line steppers.
long, long. Oh, what's up, man? What's going on, Daddy?
Man, live my best life.
Oh, what's the deal, man? Shoot,
Uh, just listen in.
listening. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, well, Y Skinner is also up here. Somebody up here was just hashtag divest is best. I don't know, but shoot, maybe it was a troll. I was interested in what they had to say. So, but anyway, the title of this broadcast is "Where's Your Pride as a Black Man?" And what I was talking about earlier, Donnie. I'm gonna go back to this was a few minutes before I started this broadcast, I just got through watching Judas and the Black Messiah, which made me watch. I actually thought of this broadcast while I was watching this film. So yeah, and it was wow, that to say the least.
Yeah, make you wonder, huh?
Oh yeah, makes me wonder is can we ever regain some semblance? I mean, it's once I you talk to a few people and you see this, is it always going to be like this? Is it always going to be every time a few black men get together, there's always going to be one of them niggas?
That's what it seems like. I mean, we've had that even in our time in the manosphere. We've had, beta male type niggas come around us, and that's just what it is. These niggas infiltrate just to hate.
Hmm. Yeah, and yeah, it's I don't know, man. It's like when grown, like when someone come like takes time to come on this platform to just try to call a bunch of men pedophiles without any proof whatsoever, then that, I mean, people will tell you all day, don't let stuff like that bother you. Don't let stuff, don't let stuff like that get to you. But that does kind of bother me when you start using desperate language like that. And that's all it is. It's desperate language. Anything to take somebody down. And it's a shame that a lot of that shit got to come from us.
Yeah, that's exactly what that shit is. Desperate language. It's desperate language because they can't do anything else. So what do? They start using language that is in desperation calls and rallies the other people around you. It's a dog whistle. How many times have you seen it to where somebody starts screaming, "Oh, he's a pedophile, he's a rapist, he's a that, he's a this," something of that nature, and the people around just don't pay attention and sit quietly and ignore it. No, these are certain words whistle to everybody in the vicinity. Pay attention. This person is bad. Why? Because I said so.
All right. Shout out to Michael Dyson. Okay, that's a very familiar name. You know, uh, Immigrants don't identify as black people. Get it through your heads.
What does that have to do with the topic?
The hell that's supposed to mean?
Well, I mean, I
Yeah, well,
understand what he
yeah,
means,
that's what I'm
but
talking
Well,
about. What the
that's
what
hell
does
they
not
that
got to
have
do
true
to
with the
do with the
topic?
topic? Yeah.
though. Well, that's
So
not true
no, they don't. They don't. He's right, but
Ain't
they ain't got shit to do with the topic.
Yeah, we got to remember that at the end of the day, this is a public platform. Some people will be able to comprehend. Some people will not be able to comprehend.
Roger,
Sometimes
ain't you from Canada?
So I want to reiterate something from earlier. Again, I agree with what Roger's saying. I agree with what Donnie's saying. I agree with what Kevin's saying. That wasn't what I was going for as far as like disagreement. What I was trying to explain was how the behavior works and why it works. That's simply what I was doing. Like when I was talking about how men shit on each other, for the because that's what we do in order to iron sharpen iron and all that. The It's necessary and it's also destructive. That's the whole. And the thing is, you actually have to negate your own biology in order to get past that. So it doesn't make somebody stupid if they don't recognize what's going on. You have to like literally you have to work past your biology, which is extraordinarily difficult. The whole manosphere is here because of that. So in order to work past your biology, you have to have something to replace that, and no one's replacing pussy anytime soon, which is why it's so difficult to get past that. I mean, one of the most obvious things we can point to is that most of the conversations being had in the manosphere is either talking about women or talking to women and saying, "I told you that's how you are. See." You know what I'm saying? Like these are literally the conversations where we're just pointing out their behavior and then saying "see," and then they just say, "Yes, I do have that power. What are you going to do about it?" And you can't do anything about it.
no, I mean I get where you're coming from, man. I'm not trying to be disagreeing. I'm disagreeing toward what you're saying. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, as a man, you can't allow pussy to rule your life. And when women come and say little things and men react to it, at the end of the day, you're proving that pussy does actually rule your life. If a woman say something crazy to me, it's not that big a deal. Why? Because first of all, it's probably not going to be true in the first place. Second of all, I don't have to react the way she wants me to react because I'm not seeking her approval. Period. If you are not my wife, girlfriend, my significant other, my fiance, if you're not a significant other in some kind of way, why would I want to react the way you want me to react unless I'm going to put you on the pedestal? I'm not doing that. Period. And that's what I'm saying. So I don't even think it's against men's biology. We're supposed to be in a dominant role. If she says something to fire me and up, I'm still gonna hold on to the dominant role. What I say counts, and what she says has to be measured, and I have to first agree that it counts before I react to it. If I don't
Yeah,
agree that it
you
matters,
are.
I'm not.
Yeah, and that goes back to the first the first conversation we had, where that's you. Like when you personalize the general, yeah, you can say you behave like that. But again, it is a biological thing, and the only way to get past it is to work past your biology, which is nearly impossible for most people. Again, you have the most obvious example in front of you. Like, society is in front of you. Who has all the legal and social power. So, and then you have the manosphere, which is a response to that, and then you still see what the most dominant conversations here are, or the most dominant actions taken here. So, like with just obvious stuff in front of you, you have to recognize that it's not about somebody being stupid or anything like that, or like unaware. It's mostly education, which doesn't necessarily mean you're stupid. It just means you just don't have the information, which is what the manosphere also was created for, to get the information out there. Two, it's literal biology, and you have to get past that, or you won't be able to fix it. And then three, men are enforcing it. Men are enforcing the biology because it is a biological reflex. So other men are going to shit on you in order to do what society or male society perceives as the right course of action.
Yeah. Well, I'm not trying to suggest men are stupid for not knowing. What I was saying is you know and you still do it, you're stupid. That's what I'm saying. You know, I get a lack of knowledge. We all have a lack of knowledge to some degree, and my thing is, I definitely don't want to say anything against men, especially when I know a lot of them are coming from a place where they're not going to like this, or they're going to like this knowledge because they dad wasn't around, or they didn't really get to talk to their uncles. A lot of single mothers I've noticed are very specific on who they're gonna let their son hang around. If that man starts teaching him too much stuff, she will remove him from his presence. You know what I'm saying? So I know women are doing this on purpose. So I'm not saying men are stupid because they don't know. I'm saying is once you understand it and you do it, you're stupid.
Right, yeah. Of course. But I'm saying men enforce this. Just want everybody to understand that we
Yeah.
enforce this shit.
No, I get you and I agree, but I am saying that that is voluntary slavery. You're voluntarily enslaving yourself to that woman's will at that particular point, regardless on how long it lasts. Whether it's a 5 minute thing, a 10 minute thing, makes no difference. It's voluntary slavery. Now, me, I'm totally against him. Myself being involved in slavery of any kind, I avoid it whenever possible. But that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with Zero's assessment. Yeah, I mean Zero will do that to you. I'll just say it that much. Uh, but we do have Y Skinner, and we got Judzilla who came up. Y Skinner, you go first, then Judzilla. Pleasure as always.
Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud.
Yeah, I'm black and I'm proud. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I would say this: I would trade, like as far as like being a black man. If I die and God say come back, hey, I want to be a black man again. That's just. I mean, I may not have, theoretically speaking, I may not have that much control, and who knows what's in the hereafter, or if even if there is a hereafter. But I know this: if I had the option, I would come back as a black man. I don't know how many people would actually say that or and actually mean it, because it
Mhm.
is like for some reason very difficult in this motherfucker, sociably, so sociably and societal wise, to be a black man. I mean, to hold on to your resolve, you have to be a very strong person. I'm just saying. So go ahead, Y Skinner.
Y'all remember that song by James Brown?
Yeah, yeah. You were just singing it.
Hmm. Yeah, that was released in 1969, and James Brown, I think it was American Bandstand. that he went on the show and sung that song. And believe it or not, the white people that was on that show while he was singing it, they were singing it too, which was, you know, it was kind of weird, because they're down there on the floor, he's dancing and singing it, and they're singing "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud," 1969. So um, some of you guys are young, you probably didn't see that,
I'm
but
not young, and I still didn't see that.
so that was very unusual scene for that to happen back in 1969. But James Brown was just phenomenal. No, I mean the guy was a superstar. Kev, I'm pretty sure you probably old enough to remember that. That special.
I wasn't in existence when that first aired, but I do remember seeing a snippet of it from the beginning of Undercover Brother. I mean, but I've heard the song before.
Uh huh.
Yeah, but you said that on the floor itself that there were whites and black. Well, there were whites and blacks talking about I'm black and I'm proud.
Yes, it was. It
I
was
mean, I
white.
don't know. I'm pretty sure that like a reflection of that is today's rap music, where there are a bunch of N words being thrown around, and white kids are probably bumping that music in their cars and N word this, N word that. Probably not in the same spirit, but kinda. So
Kinda.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah.
Also, one thing I did notice in the movie Judas and the Black Messiah, Fred Hampton was able to get white people on page, if that's at all true.
Yeah. Yep.
Because the whole point was like it wasn't. It made it seem to me like it wasn't just like a black or a white thing. It was a poor people thing, And I felt like when just like an example you gave, when you have the power to do that, you become very dangerous to be able to unite something that they've been trying to put in place for so long.
Hmm.
Keep in place for so long. So I'm not saying like I just for what has happened, I'm still kind of cautious about accepting something like that because it's always the example. They love our culture. They love our ways, our coolness. They want to be us, but then again, they don't want to be us. Like like kind of like Paul Mooney said on Chappelle's show. Everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga. You know. So I mean, I don't think I'm not one of those people that think white folks are cool just because they can recite black song lyrics or something to that effect. But I know you were trying to get to a point. So go ahead.
Hmm. I I remember when I was in the eighth grade. Uh, when I was young, I was one of those real shy guys, and most of my classmates, they was kind of wild bunch. But I was kind of a real shy guy. I didn't want to fight. You know, I just, it was just I was just one of those guys that I just don't want to fight nobody. You know, and I had never been in really a fight in elementary. And when I got to the ninth grade, we was in class, and I used to be picked on all the time. Ever since probably the seventh grade, and in the ninth grade, I think it was English class. It was almost all boys in there. I think I'm not quite sure. There was a lot of boys in there, and everybody, being picked on all the time. All uh, the other kids in there, kind of knew that I was the one to pick on. And this one guy decided to pick on me one day. And he actually went to the point that he wanted to fight me. He caught me. I was up at the desk, at the teacher's desk. So I guess he figured, I'm the guy to pick on. I'm the guy to get. Well, he swung on me, and when he swung on me, he missed and grabbed me. And when he grabbed me, I beat the hell out of his head while he was holding me. And I beat him so hard because this was my first fight. I beat his head so hard he fell on the ground, and he got up and said, "Man, I'm done." And from then on, I felt pretty good about myself after that happened. And you talking about walking around with pride, with a lot of pride. Man, I was proud of myself. And do you know from then on, didn't nobody want to fuck with me? They was like, if I fight him, hell, I'm gonna get hurt too. And so from then on, that pride, of me having that pride, being proud of myself, uh, I really truly believe it changed my life. And that was in ninth grade.
So it was only hammer fist to his head,
It was what?
just all headshots.
Just all
Just
hit left and right, man. Cause he was he was grabbing me around come around my chest, and he had his head down trying to tackle me. Well, he couldn't tackle me.
It, it's hard for me. It's hard for me not to picture this, but because you're telling the story. But what I'm seeing is the dude that got his ass beat by that deer.
well, he didn't say I beat him up. He said I beat his head.
I beat, I beat his
his
head.
That's just the image I'm seeing. Is that dude that walked up with that bow and arrow on that deer, and that deer just started going wop 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 wop.
Yo, only his head.
Yeah. He couldn't take it. He couldn't take it. I was hitting him so hard with them left and right. But he just fell out on the floor. And he got up and he said, "Damn, man, I'm done."
Nigga head a different shape now.
And everybody in the classroom, all the other guys was looking. And everybody else was looking. They were saying, "Damn, man, he kicked your ass." And then from then on, man, I felt so good about myself. I walked around with, just proud of myself,
So you're saying you were proud of yourself because you finally stood up to the bully?
I finally stood up to one bully, because I was picked on by several guys, for like 2 or 3 years.
That means that you had a redeeming quality. Now, what could have brought this about? Because see, here's what it was. Here's what it was for me. When I got picked on, like I was, in 7th grade, I was 4'9". I was like 80, 90 pounds. Yeah, it made me I was a very easy target. Like, even though I would like pretty much like that, I wasn't proud that I stood up to anyone. I was just an asshole right back. Like I would say anything in 7th and 8th grade, like those years, because it was just like, I mean, I was a short guy at the time. It was, you had to learn, like, I don't know, you had to have some kind of response like to it. I couldn't just get picked on all the time. I had to say something like, your mama got bow-legged teeth or something. I had to say something, like, it just like, and some days it was worse, some days it was better. But I mean, for me, it was a character builder. You know, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, it was like, but I will tell you this: one of the talking points that I know that's a manosphere phrase, talking point that is used against us is the fact that we did get picked on. We resent being picked on, so we're taking out all our frustrations and animosities on the world itself by coming to a YouTube channel and just simply say words. Like, I just
just telling a story. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
But like, I do understand how that can be like once you overcome a hurdle, then life becomes better. So I'll
right.
take it as such. All right, we got Sheed here. Yeah, we got Judge. Judge hasn't had the floor yet, and then
Oh,
Sheed.
okay. Thank you. Long live the habitual line steppers. Though we've
Long
as
live.
it appears we've lost one. Uh, I think there were three of you here before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Donnie probably, probably Donnie on daddy duty, so he comes in and out.
Copy. Um, no, 2 points. In reference to the movie that you watched there, the Judas Fred Hampton, the sex, and with the "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud" reference, and the white people join it. You have to remember, man. Don't ever forget that it crossed over enough that Fred Hampton convinced Jedi to be a part of it too. Right.
Mm.
Forrest Gump. Long live Forrest Gump. Uh, but secondarily, in the instance of the title here, where is your pride as a black man? Now, I guess my question would be, in what seats, in what, and forgive me for not being here, an hour and a half ago when you started, to see if this has already been covered. Where are you? Where's the ideal placing or positioning of what it is that you're taking pride in? And by Skinner's references, he stood up for himself, um, for what he referenced as his first time of being, him being capable of standing up for himself and getting the rewards from that, via self-esteem and maybe even a bit of social status there. Um, you know, it, I think I don't think that the black men have a problem with pride, so to speak. I think the problem is what we're placing pride into.
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's interesting. And just from your perspective, what do you see a lot of black men putting their pride into?
Well, self-destructive traits and behaviors. You know,
Example being a pookie.
not
I,
necessarily just being a, but
I, I
not,
mean,
no, no, not just being a pookie. It, so those things that would be okay. So we're stuck in nomenclature here, because of how things have developed, and arguments and beefs and alliances and all this other bull crap that has placed us in the situation that the manosphere is in. But what I'm saying is those things that would be actively productive. You know, uh, education, accomplishments, which aren't mutually exclusive, but aren't necessarily tied together. You understand what I'm saying? Uh, Being a good hard worker, whether it's in a blue collar, white collar, no collar, having successful families, raising successful children. It doesn't seem. It seems that those are given lip service oftentimes in this space, but not actually elevated to points of actual reverence or pride. It seems that a lot of other more destructive traits are what are given accolade, or what are placed, or where esteem is placed, has been placed, and in a sense pride in doing well in those self-destructive traits, which again is a misnomer, because it just means you're falling further into self-destruction. Am I making any sense, or am I just?
No, you making sense. That goes to the title of the stream, which you was talking about pride as a black man, and I first thing I chatted was the underdog fallacy, where just because you had hood ass struggle, then you somehow are a better person because of it, and that's bullshit. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what you're saying right now. So
Yeah, that more than a conqueror type of feeling that you know that comes from church, right? You know what I mean?
Okay. I just want to give a shout out to Bay Blotter News down there. See, you really are chatting it up down there. But yeah, that is a totally legitimate question, Judge Zilla. The question is whether or not we have pride, but what we put our pride into. And yeah, Zero did touch on that. And yeah, that was his first, the underdog fallacy. Where it's like the more you struggle, the blacker you are, kind of deal. It's like if you were a like if I'm going in the right place, correct me if I'm not. Um, I would. Okay, I can even give an example of a story that was told to me by a female. Which is really like I know this whole female thing, but this is the actual story. She like the way she dates. I was like, okay, what? And this has a point. I was like, she was telling me about her boyfriend not being there or something like that. I was like, where is he, in jail? I was like, why does he have to be in jail? I was like, answer the question. She was like, yeah, he's in jail. And then she goes into this whole little thing about, well, guys like that, at least you know where they're coming from. The other kind of guy, which she referred to as the quote unquote pretty boy, the good guy, she says that she feels like those guys set you up to break you. Like somehow his personality and the way he is supposedly deceiving. Like they're just trying to do this. Like she had this little ideal in her head that somehow the better you are, the more she's gonna get her heart broken. This
Right.
guy has the most potential to be a liar or something like that. Like just because he displays himself as a person that is put together really well, that somehow he's trying to destroy the planet or some shit like that, as opposed to the quote unquote I would say guy who stays into trouble. I mean, I don't want to make any assumptions like call him like a gang member or a drug dealer or whatever. As whereas she thinks she's going to get something really good and wholesome from that. You
Yeah.
know, like she was trying to frame it to me as such, like it was something wrong with me not wanting to commit crime or something like that. You know?
That's very much along the lines of what I'm talking about. Like I've noticed in this space and black community at large, right? Um, Kids that are from the suburbs who aren't from the hood are somehow less black. Kids that had intact families are somehow less black. Kids that were lauded, that their parents put them in more academic pursuits, are somehow less black than kids who only pursued athletics. And in a lot of these respects, I'm thinking to myself, well, isn't that what what you should be or want to have for your children? Like, aren't those like? Isn't that the? Wouldn't you want to have your children grow up in a less hostile environment? Wouldn't you want your children to be raised to appreciate, intellect, intelligence, and being able to prosper more easily in life? Like, shouldn't these things? It would seem to me that they would make more sense that you would want them to have it, but that seems the opposite. The pride is more placed upon your struggle, how hard things were for you. I only had one mom's and she wasn't even there for me, so I had to go out and do this, that, and the other thing, and all of that is made prideful and laudable over what would appear to be the more logical, reasonable, desirable path. I understand that you say that you would want to be a black man. You would want to come back as a black man, but wouldn't you want to come back as a black man in better circumstances than your original trip through? I don't
And,
know if I'm making any sense. I'm just rambling, I
and
guess.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead,
I,
Sheet. Go ahead.
I understand what he's saying, but the point of it is when it comes down to it, a lot of black people, man, they this whole I wouldn't change a thing of my life because it made me a better person. Most of the time, that's bullshit. Dealing with a lot of people, with that scenario you was talking about, how most of the people from the suburbs want to be from the hood, and it's because they never experienced it. I I tell people that I provide a better life for my kids because of a lot of the bullshit circumstance that I went through. Why would I want? Why would I wish so much? Like like I mean, I don't even know how to say the words, but I mean, why would I want so much bullshit for my kids to where they have to fight for everything? Going through the hood where they're struggling and they're not able to obtain nice clothes and to having supplies to where they can have a fighting chance in school. A lot of people look at that as pride, and I'm like, dude, hell no. Like if that was the case, you would put your kids in the same environment you did, even though you make the money to pull them out. Nah, it builds character by putting them in that fucked up situation. Nah, you can build character in other ways. The whole thing of pride of me being a man is providing for my kids and showing them a better life
yeah,
because it's
yeah,
easy for a man to kind of walk that walk and talk that talk when you don't have shit because you got to deal with the circumstances. But if you got something, you want to make do of it and provide a better life for that
yeah,
next generation. Because
yeah,
even if a
yeah,
man don't have kids, he still have to exceed to the level of teaching another young man, whether it be cousin or whoever in that next generation.
yeah. My dad always, not always, but he used to say all the time, because he worked two jobs for a long time, and of course he was born in 1926, so he saw a lot. He went through a lot as a black man, but he used to say, he used to tell me and tell the rest of the kids that I do the things I do because, and I work the way I do, and I know I'm not here as much as I should be, but I do it because I want y'all to have it better than what I had it. And I didn't just really grasp that at the time because I was younger, but that's the way a lot of those old guys were because of what they went through. They didn't have as much. Uh, he uh, he didn't finish high school. I think he left in his senior year and went to the service. I think that was like 1943, something like that.
Hmm.
And when the war was over, that's when he came out. And I tell you, that service, I never wanted to go to the service, but that service was good for him, because I mean, he got up at 5 o'clock every morning like it wasn't nothing. But he used to say that. He used to tell me that. He said, I do what I do because I want y'all to have it better than what I
Well,
And,
that's most black men. We always, what I'm saying. Well, generally, black men want their children to live a better life. But I will say this though. Uh, Maybe people are dumber than what I than what I just assumed. But the Black Manosphere is a collection of a bunch of different guys who went through a bunch of different experiences. Being picked on as a kid never really happened to me.
had.
Now, the the only time that someone even tried to pick on me when I was a kid, just off like some school stuff, was like when some stuff got rearranged with the school system. So now I was in class with kids, and I was most of the people I was in class with, I pretty much stayed in the same class with certain kids because we were always getting pushed to the quote unquote smarter kids or in the gifted classes and things like that. We wasn't pushing on, we wasn't trying to punk each other out and all that type of stuff. We was kids, we was having fun, everybody was cool. Some stuff got rearranged. So I was, you know what I'm saying, only in my eighth grade year, stuff got rearranged. So now that this certain thing had happened through our school system, um, I was in I was thrown in with regular folks who basically I had never really ever been in class with before. I was in class with people that was like 15 and 16 years old. So, dummies that couldn't graduate for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only time I even had an experience like that was in the eighth grade. And even some of them was trying to, push certain kids around and press on guys that's a lot younger than them, because you talking about people that's around 15, 16 year old trying to talk to what's that, you but about 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a 12, 13 years old. So you it's a big gap right there. And the way a child develops at 12 and 13 versus a 15, 16 year old ain't quite the same thing. It's a huge difference in most
Hmm.
cases. But with a person like myself who come from a big family and got much older cousins, you know what I'm saying? My cousin only come a few years younger than my mother. You know what I'm saying? I'm already used to fighting bigger people, period. You know what I'm saying? Size will never intimidate me. Now I'm not stupid. I know if you have a certain amount of size over me, of course you're gonna cause a problem, but size alone ain't gonna get the job done. I ain't scared of size. So I didn't have to experience all that getting picked on type of stuff. When I went to high school, I went with kids that were smart. We wasn't picking on each other like that. We were basically normal. You know what I'm saying? We even there was certain gang in the neighborhood that started pushing on our school for a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? And I have to say, I'm proud of the people at the time. Certain folks at the school went out to have fights with the gang members in the neighborhood just to make it cool, where they would leave everybody alone that was coming to our school. Now, I ain't saying we stall neighborhood violence, but basically the kids in the neighborhood or the people who was hanging around the school, they know if you mess with anybody from our school, we will be to see you at some point. You're not gonna just do it and it's gonna be okay. So I didn't have all these type of experience. And I've heard other people who come from suburban areas, and I seriously doubt somebody who came from the suburbs had my experience, because I grew up in Chicago and in the hood. I still live in the hood. I just live in a different hood, But you know what I'm saying? I don't buy into everybody got picked on. Everybody was scared growing up.
Right.
Everybody couldn't get no woman. You know what I'm saying? People are sad about some chick that left them in high school. I don't buy into all this, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's a bunch of nonsense to me. And the fact that so many people come to these type of thoughts, and I do like to believe people are smart, but I have to think people are a special kind of stupid to think that a collective of men from all across the country that had basically the exact same experience. You a special kind of stupid.
Yeah, no, I get you with that because again, like the Zero calls me the giant light skinned nigga with green eyes. You know, right? I never got picked on. I didn't even get hazed on on my athletic teams. Uh, you know, didn't even have to deal with that. You know,
Yeah.
um,
And that's nothing against anybody who did get picked on. I'm just
right?
saying we all didn't have the same experience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We just happen
yeah,
to notice certain things because we happen to live in the same country for the most part.
The crazy part, it was one time where I got picked. Well, it was twice. The first time I ever got picked on, I was in the fourth grade, and it was, same thing with Roger was talking about. This dude, he got kept back about two, three times, and he always had this issue about sitting in the back of the bus, and that it was like that little small seat back there where nobody, only one person can sit on, and he was like, that's his seat. So the guy was suspended for a week, and I was sitting in the seat, and ultimately he came up to me, much way bigger than me. And he grabbed me and was like, "Hey man, get out my seat." I was like, "Man, go on, stop pulling on my shirt." Kept on coming at me, and I'm like, "Dude, I get up, but don't grab me." And he was like, "Oh, you tough, you know." And my brother went to school with me. He was in the fifth grade, so my brother was like, "Man, just go on and get up." I was like, "I'm finna get up, but he not finna grab me." And so one thing led to another. He grabbed my shirt, yanked my collar, and shoved me into the back of the glass. So I got mad. I went up under his arms. You know, even though he was big, I knew how to move him because you know I got older brothers and we fight all the time. So I lift him up like just slightly to enough to where he can get his weight just on his toes, and I shoved him into the back of the mirror and broke the mirror. And before he could try to hit me, the bus driver came back there and was like, hey, y'all cut that out. He was like, oh, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that to you. And I'm like, I'm not scared of you. And the whole time everybody's, oh, he finna get you. Me and this dude never had a problem. After that, you know, he's like, oh, you a little bad one. I'm gonna have to watch you. But he never tried me. And he messed with everybody to that day on the bus, but he never fooled with me.
Yeah.
Because my thing of was, you know, when it came down to it, okay, you can be the bully, this and that, but you're not gonna disrespect me. That was my whole big thing. You're not gonna disrespect me.
Yeah, that's like what Kev was saying earlier. Like I hear these narratives being given out, and I hear these assumptions. And again, I had like I was grateful to find the manosphere because I found people who at least had some of the same thoughts that I had, so I could realize I wasn't crazy. I didn't get red pilled by the manosphere. I was red pilled long before the manosphere. I came to the manosphere.
Exactly.
You know, I and I'm not here. I'm not. I wasn't. I'm not here for, and I believe a lot of others aren't here because we're because there's incel shit. You know, incels have their own issues that they have to deal with. No, no negativity to them. Uh, no disrespecting them as men, but that's not. But everything is projected and the assumptions made and the narratives that are being driven about it. It's like, no, none of these fucking apply. No, they really apply. No, they didn't. And secondarily, you know that they don't apply, but you're just doing this. You're just saying what you're saying, and you're going to keep saying what you're saying. So, but they get the pass on that. But anybody else who says, but nobody who they make the narratives or the assumptions or place their projections upon ever is allowed to actually not be what they say we are. I don't.
Yeah, well,
Man,
and I
when it
never
come
really, I never really cared about what people say about me.
Well,
All the guys I ran with, we knew who we were.
no, it's
And
it's not that. It's you go to you go in, you go there, you go to other places, or they come here, and it's not that you care, it's that it's annoying to consistently have that thrown in your face every time you come up with these individuals, every time these individuals involve themselves in the conversation, every single time. you know you could literally show them. I don't know. You could literally show them that you were a contender for welterweight, heavyweight champion of the world, or not welterweight, rather. Sorry, but heavyweight champion, welterweight or heavyweight champion of the world, and they would still assume that you still got picked on and beat up, and you had a problem with. So
yeah,
I'm just backing off of what Kevin was saying.
I think a lot of it's projection. I'm gonna keep it real. I think a lot of this stuff is projection, and I think a lot of people got some twisted thoughts, and it comes out through what they say. Because Kevin was speaking earlier about the pedophile stuff.
Yeah.
I've never come to a place outside of people who quote unquote criticize the black manosphere heard people speak on pedophilia so much. I honestly think you have these thoughts about pedophilia, and you're trying to put it off on somebody else. That's
But
my
Roger,
honest opinion.
the problem with that, and the problem with the guys that are doing that, in my estimate, it'd be it'd be different for me if one of their road partners, if one of their YouTube road dogs didn't have those charges.
Well, I don't know who has those
yeah,
charges, but I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I didn't even know that. But my thing is, I've never heard it talked about so much until I got here. And just being a perceptive person, if something is being talked about that much, what are you niggas doing it?
And again, and again, do I have the paperwork? No. The person who I'm talking about says it out of his own mouth.
Struggle party, man. That's the thing. When guys get, most guys, I'm just gonna say that when they get together, they start relating to certain things. And even if you don't even do what these other guys are doing, you want to be a part of the party. You know, I listen to guys on so many channels, like, that situation. I ain't even gonna say the name because with a situation with two guys on the panel, they ultimately, had a discussion where this guy was just saying something off the wall where he didn't know nothing about. But for the whole point of him trying to make a reference to say, well, I know about this because I've been around guys that did this and that. No, dude. And when guys tried to say, hey man, that's not your lane. You don't know what you're talking. That's not how stuff go. You want to be a part of this party so bad, you're forcing people to listen to lies that aren't true. And I'm listening to a lot of guys in the space that do that. And sometimes, we give them a pass to where we don't say anything. But when you go too far, hey man, cut that out. You're lying. Hey man, don't be giving people that advice because, dude, you ultimately fucking people up in the long run. And a lot of guys think that no, man, we cool. We just talk. No, no, no. Even though we talking, that's bullshit you saying. And then when you call them out, everybody looking at you as the bad guy, be like, hey, you gonna let this motherfucker keep talking this bullshit? Like, nah, call him out. That's
Yeah.
what men do. Hey, man, stand
Yeah.
on your purpose, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey,
True.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What I was trying to get to is that, yeah, yeah. Sophomore year is when I found out a lot of girls was having sex with grown men. I found this out sophomore year. I never really paid attention to it. I'm not gonna say I could have found out early because if I'd have paid more attention, I could have found out about it early. But it was right in my face sophomore year of high school. There was a class discussion, and girls was bragging about the ages of their boyfriend, and they went all the way up to 25 in the first class that this discussion was going on because it carried on to other classes. So now it's in my face sophomore year. No way to ignore it. So I think a lot of the people who make certain little accusations, you was them niggas going up to them schools at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old and over, trying to pick up them little high school girls. That's why that type of stuff stays on your mind. I
Because
think there's a correlation
because our
between
eyes,
that.
yeah, because our eyes worked. Our eyes work now, and our eyes worked then.
Mm.
Yeah, because I mean, just to keep. I mean, not knowing anything about the Black Manosphere when I first started doing my thing, and I found it after, well, all the habitual line stuff. We found this after we had already started making content. But the fact that I got over here and then I see people throwing accusations like that, I believe you niggas that's accusing people, y'all participated in that type of stuff, and it wasn't no one time thing. That was your thing. You was 22 years old, 24, whatever, and you had some little 14, 15-year-old girlfriend. And because you participated in that, you think it's normal that somebody else would do it too. So therefore you make accusations like that. Because with the conversation that I've heard, there was no reason to even bring something like that up. I haven't heard anybody say anything that would even lead you to believe something like that was going on. But so for somebody just start hurling insults like that, that come from somewhere. That come out your heart, you
Yeah,
know.
What?
yeah.
Uh,
I think a lot of it. I
no,
think a lot of it is
no, go
just
ahead. I'm sorry.
projection. I think it's a lot of those dudes. When you a person like with me, I respect intelligence, and my thing is that a lot of these people are just projecting and just throwing it, we call it a hominin attacks and stuff, and like don't know what the hell they're talking about. So I think that like you were saying that anytime you do any type of criticism critique, oh, this person must have not got women or not got this, or most black dudes, majority of black dudes are not incels, so, and I think that, and it's and it's just not even black American issue. It's just West, on when it comes to this dynamic and dynamic going on in the West as far as this feminism, anti male stuff. Is even going on in like the UK too. So it's not just it's a Western thing that's going on. So I think that like you wouldn't have like people like we call it people from the UK in the space. Like you wouldn't have like Jessica X or King Richard or other people in the space. So like a lot of the stuff they're saying, calling people, pedophilia, whatever, pedophiles and stuff like that, and having no evidence. And that's what I'm saying. So basically, trying to shame people, using female tactics, shaming, people on some BS. It doesn't even make any sense. And why these dudes, act like women, you know what I'm saying. So it's like, oh, you
Yeah.
know, um,
Well, I'm gonna respond to that, and then I'm gonna let Coffee go ahead and get the floor. He just got up here. Uh, the people just do anything to take each other out. Is like it's like a if all else fails situation. People are fucking malicious, and like if I'm going to accuse someone of something that and it won't be an accusation, there's going to be definitive proof. That's very strong to say about someone. Sexual deviancy is something that I don't feel like should be thrown around lightly because it makes it tough for real victims when people bullshit and stuff like that. I mean, so if I'm going to say that, I got evidence. It's not going to be because I want to destroy you. I'm going to destroy you if I have solid evidence, however. But off some malicious trying to slow your progress down, trying to take from you or whatever, being malicious, nah. I think that's wrong, and I think you got hell to look forward to when you do stuff like that. But go ahead, Coffee.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Man, the topic, where's your pride as a black man? I think that depends on who you are, where you are in your life, because all of us don't arrive at the same time. I was agreeing with Zero a whole lot, on some of the things he stated earlier. And really what got me up on the panel was, I don't know, who was it that said they got picked on?
That was me.
Oh,
Y
okay.
Skinner.
Yeah, man, I gotta tell you, your story really resonated with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a popular dude in school. Women were after me. Dudes were really jealous, thinking I wanted a woman. We was always, fighting. But I was one of those dudes, man, that was this little short, annoying dude that dressed nice, looked good, and would always pick on the big fat boy, tall, corner him in the corner, pop him on his chest. He had titties, and I would do things like that, And, it was just mean. When I look at it now, I just thought about this the other day. I was like, damn, man, you was really mean. And are you really mean now? Are you still a mean person? And I had to really realize, like, hey, yeah, you kind of mean. I think I'm a mean guy, but at the same time, I'm nice. And as being in this space for 5 years, and listening to what Roger had stated, you can be nice, nasty, or something like that. I think being the ruthless, nice guy, I think that's more like me now. When it comes to anyone, but I think I'm more neutral now. But man, I really would like to apologize for, you being picked on, because, that's a serious thing, because even as an adult, when I had got married, and I was walking past this guy, he was with his wife and kids, and here I am with my wife and no kids, he wouldn't even speak, because people really hold things from high school, and you only do things, when you're around other people. I don't think it was for the attention for me, because I was getting attention. It was more so, yeah, man, you're in the group, so yeah, do it. It's more of that, and that's what you see a whole lot, even here in the manosphere. But
Peer
what
pressure.
You
Peer
use a
pressure.
bullet. You sound like a bullet.
I was a little bit. I ain't gonna say a lot because I was always
I
busy,
mean,
Yeah.
slapping boobies. But you're saying peer pressure, coffee? That's
Yeah,
what
I
that's
I
what-
think I think it was more of that, and the adrenaline to just see this dude cringe and cry, and he was bigger than me, and you know, it was just I don't know, man. Until one day he said he just went off in front of the whole class and just slung me around, man, and slung me into the door. I didn't fuck with him no more.
Well,
Because he was, how you may be the I always looked young, for my age, like as in, you know, the shortest guy in the class, you know, but I was also, my personality stood out. And you would find, that big dude be like, little boy, you fuck with me again, I'm gonna beat you up. I was annoying like that, like a little brother, more like that, and it just seemed like every time I saw him in the hallway, I would corner him and fuck with him. So I that's what
Oh,
got
so
me up.
what you did was you projected your inner, your inner rage for your stature and your situation. You took it out on Fat Boy. That's what you're telling me.
I did, man. And it was pretty bad.
All
It
right,
was
did
pretty
that hurt
bad.
his pride? Don't you think? Do you think that hurt
It
his
messed
pride?
with him, man, from I would say from third grade all the way up into seventh. And then when we got in high school, he wouldn't even look my way.
Okay. Well, he did.
You say he eventually got you though?
Oh yeah, in seventh grade,
and
he
and see
did, man.
that's like with me in a sense. I always took up for the little guy, and even when people got picked on, I was tried to diffuse the situation. Because I was a cool kid. I played sports. Kind of popular to the extent, and a lot of guys we knew, dealt with each other in a certain manner, especially with me being on the wrestling team, I had a little status to where everybody knew. I mean, I knew how to box a little bit too. So with me wrestling, I could do some work. I could put in work. And when it came down to it, it wasn't me trying to get people to fear me, but it was more or less to be neutral. Cause I'm like, why you gotta pick on the little guy? Oh man, it's fun. Well, pick on me. Even one of the biggest bullies up there at the school, he kind of came at me sideways because I was defending somebody he was punking out. And I'm like, come on, man. He was like, shut up, if I slap you. I was like, you ain't about to do that to me. He's like, okay, when I'm done with him, I got you. And like I said, it didn't go that way because I'm jumping around, but for the respect, because I stood my ground. And when it came down to it, I would always try to help those little guys out that couldn't help themselves. It was a situation one time where a guy, tried to jump on. It was like a group of kids tried to jump on this one dude because he had a little money on him, and because he was on the wrestling team with me, I was like, nah, y'all not about to get on him like that. And that guy, he got picked on a lot to the point where when we came around, it was always a different scene, and that made him even want to be on the team even more and got into sports. And ultimately, man, he became one of the most popular kids just off being in the sports and dealing with guys, and he had that confidence to move around.
You know what, man? The thing was the tables turned a little bit. Always been the popular dude, but the tables turned a little bit when it came to women. Because I mean, I had niggas wanting to fight me every day about their woman. I mean, if you remember the crew called Down by Law, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, one of the guys from Down by Law crew had saw me. My car wasn't working that morning when I had to go to school. Saw me standing at the damn bus stop, hit me across the head with a pistol, and robbed me, man. And I still went to school. So that's how bad these dudes hated me. So
Wow.
yeah, it was that bad. So that's when my life kind of like went to the right, and I just ended up, just doing what I had to do, man, to get it right. You know, I finally had graduated high school. I graduated top of my class. I graduated, you know, at 16 and went to college. And ever since then, man, you know, things just changed up for me, you know. But I knew not to dwell in those places because that ain't what you want, you know. Although I had cousins in the projects, you know, I wasn't that, you know, and I knew that they would always have my back. But, you know, when I saw they would go on a different route, you know, I just said, you know, this ain't for me. So I think that's why I'm the way I am now. I'm more neutral, you know, because everybody don't arrive at the same time, you know. Like Zero said, you know, when you're ignorant to certain things, you shouldn't be crucified for it, you know. It's all about learning.
What you got to do,
Was
Kev?
you at least flirting with him? Was you at least flirting?
Uh,
What's up, what?
hey,
Who? Who, Roger?
No, I'm joking. I'm
Hey, you
like,
talking
man,
about?
did you at least flirt? You got hit with a pistol. Did you at least flirt with him or something?
Oh, hell no, man.
They
This
didn't
dude,
like it.
hey,
They didn't like it.
he didn't like me. He just didn't, you know. And I found out it was my best friend's cousin who was in the gang, and then my cousin who knew part of that gang went after them, and they start fucking with my best friend. So they caught him and beat the shit out of him twice for me.
I can tell why. I can tell why that you got all that shit done to you. You graduated at 16. I know you was a motherfucker in them streets, man. It's like this little motherfucker smart as hell, pretty boy. Man, let's fuck him up.
Oh man, that was every day in high school, man. So I got me a job. I only played in the band. Too short to fucking play ball or anything. I played tennis and ran track and shit like that. Now, I didn't. When I graduated, I was right at maybe 5'2". I was a short dude. Like I'm still short now. I'm right at 5'7.5", 5'8". I'm not
Hey,
tall.
we don't do halves around here.
They got that guy that pistol
Yeah.
with you. He bullied you back, did he?
Well, I didn't even know who this dude was, man. He was just somebody. This was modern. This was old school trolling. I didn't even know who he was. I was just off my guard, you know, off my balance. You know,
Yeah.
you know, usually I'm alert at everything, you know, and I was really quick with my hands.
Anybody can get caught slipping on a given random day. It happens to the best of us.
He stole you then. That's what happened.
Yeah, but then you gotta look at the point of it was too. You probably was dressed a certain way, and them boys back in the day, all you had to do was just look a certain way, and you get picked on and get robbed. You know, in Atlanta, man, especially them down by law boys, man, you could be on a certain neighborhood on the block. They be like, "Who is that? We don't know him. Man, let's go get him."
Dude, I have been robbed like 4 or 5 times. It was one night coming from the club. Here I am, you know, off of Glenwood. They got like a pond somewhere to keep these motherfuckers from off me, dude. I jumped in that pond and swam from one side to the other. I'm serious, man. Look, I done been in situations, you know, I've been in situations with women say, you know, me and him not together no more. Here I am in my drawers and have to jump off the goddamn balcony, you know, from being in bed with her.
It's good
You know,
you knew how to swim.
Oh yeah,
That's
It's good you
tough
know how to
love right
swim.
there.
You was over there off of East Lake. I know where you at with him.
look, right off of Glenwood,
Yeah,
Columbia
that's
Drive.
where it's at.
Hey, you spam over yours, boy. Woo, he's something else.
And didn't have no
Well, I'm
business.
glad you made it through. I'm
Look,
glad you
didn't
made
have
it
no
through.
business over there, and ended up getting married when I was 19 years old. After that,
Wow. That's
Hey, all
young.
my life I had to fight.
Saying.
and for nothing. And the crazy part is, I ended up after leaving one school, I went on and graduated from Northside High School of Performing Arts. So you know they weren't having that shit over there. You know, but I still had a little bit of, you know, evil in me, just a little bit, not a whole lot, but you know they weren't having it over there because a lot of stars come out of that school.
Okay. It must be a hell of an experience to get like actually hit in the face with a pistol or in the mouth. Where'd you get hit on the chest? What's going on? Did he
In the
Uh,
head.
right on my head, man.
was
Yeah,
Goddamn
man.
lump. The
uh
lump
I
was so
knew
big.
it.
okay?
Yeah.
That's the only way to
Look,
get pistol
Not the,
whooped. You
look,
gotta get hit in the head.
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
look,
That
look.
motherfucker.
not
Oh boy took the
Wow.
Gucci, he took the Gucci pouch off my neck, the Gucci watch,
I
the
told
ring,
you.
all that.
He was looking. You was profile, bro. You was a lick.
Hey, you
yeah.
sure it wasn't that fat boy, was it, that you bullied? It wasn't him.
Oh no, man! It was a dude
The
that
fat boy
that
told
was.
somebody.
No, it was my best friend's cousin, and
Okay.
the crazy part was, the thing is, man, you got to watch who you call your friends to, because the thing is, this was a person that was like a brother, you know. He sat and watched this shit happen. He said, "Man, I was looking out the window. All right, we got you, bro. We got you."
Mm.
Damn.
What you got there, Kevin?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on this for a second. Patrick Ewing annoyed at being accosted by Madison Square Garden security. Jokes. Everybody in this building should know who the hell I am. Uh, well, I'm starting to wonder. There's a pattern here with Madison Square Garden and black men, because not too long ago, Spike Lee was accosted, and we know the famous incident with Charles Oakley. Yeah, which I thought was like, besides the gravity of the incident and the look that it gave, I kind of agree with people like Charles Oakley standing his ground. But you see things like this, not just MSG. You see things like this happen to us quite often, as black men. Um, don't you think, like, for the weaker minded ones, and that's subjective in a couple of ways, that it would be more difficult for them to be able to hang on mentally if say black men are constantly exposed to this kind of behavior, even like for the ones who was coddled and not really given the education of how it used to be and how to react when you run into something like this. What are the psychological ramifications? Do you feel, well, no feel, no, she don't start. It's like,
I'm say he was tuning up.
um I, there are psychological ramifications for facing said treatment and witnessing that kind of treatment over and over again, because you have to admit that it's a very, very heavy thing to sit there and watch a black man with a knee on his neck breathe his last breath. And you have to understand, it's like, as a black man looking at that, you're going to be thinking, if you got any kind of sense or awareness of yourself, or wits about you, that George Floyd was on that ground with a knee on his neck because he was a black man. So, psychologically speaking, even with the even if you have the skin, why would you want to be a part of that struggle? I mean, for some, and we call a lot of these guys bootlickers, coons, sellouts, self haters. For a lot of those guys that were like that, do you believe that they're like that because they see that and they don't want to experience that, or is it because they truly hate themselves?
Oh, I would like to answer that one.
Okay, go right ahead.
Yeah. I have personally talked to brothers who uh, were ashamed of being black, so they went along just to get along, you know. But I think the waking up moment was when George Floyd had the knee on his neck, and a lot of them lost a lot of friends that were white. They only dwelled in the white spaces. They understood that not even all the education or accolades, anything they've earned in honor of their hard work did not matter anymore at that point, you know, because all these people had turned against them. So you do have people that are transitioning into trying to be into white society, and you got some that are recycling back into black America, black culture.
I ain't black, I'm OJ. That's all I got to say. A lot of people get this whole premise of, you know, getting on to the other side is better than where you at. You know, you don't have to deal with a struggle because of the color of your skin. And even though you have this dark skin, if you act a certain way, trying to proceed, let people perception of you as being better, because it was a funny situation. I seen a YouTube, well, Facebook post of a black kid selling nigger passes to white kids, and I laughed at it. And I'm like, man, that's funny. It's funny, But the reverse end, there's a lot of black people that want that white card, because they, man, good credit. Don't you want to be white? And it's this whole thing of, man, I wish my skin was a different color because I get a better opportunity. And this, I'm like, really? Like, dude, you're not proud of yourself. You're more looking at the situation. I'm like, even if you take the situation aspect out of it, that yeah, you might get a upper leg in life, you know, to a certain degree, because not all white people benefit off of their whiteness because they don't move a certain way, you know. Just like a lot of black people, they think that being the struggle class, what guys were talking about earlier, it makes you a better person. It builds character. When does that even come into effect? And and it kills me to where I hear so many people come up with this notion of, you know, like the whole term of talking white. Why can't I just talk proper, or why can I talk like I got some sense? Why can I act like I got some sense? Why I gotta act white because of this? Why I gotta, like, define white as such a good thing? I don't get that when I talk to a lot of guys and I be, having conversations with them. I'm like, dude, y'all push this whole crazy aspect of, you know, white is supposed to be better. And I'm like, you're pushing this off on your kids. I'm like, dude, it's not cool.
Okay. Yeah. I grew up hearing a bunch of, little sayings here and there. And one of the sayings, and I'm sure that everybody on this panel has heard this before, is the white man's ice is always colder. Yeah. Is also the definition of the word white: pure, innocent. You know, we have all of these little psychological mind fucks in place already to tell us or try to teach us that not only that we're not good enough, but white is better. A lot of black people do believe that. Like, I would even tell you that I had a cousin of mine that was sent to a white school in Alabama, even though we had a black school in Alabama that fit his level of education. And his mom just thought that the white facilities were better, were cleaner, and somehow that was going to present like a better opportunity at education. But and my cousin, who was way younger than me, You know, when he would come back and tell me his experiences, it was just be like, they is nigga jokes. Nigga jokes. They throw around the N word. And they offered him that clarity bullshit. Like that um it's not you we're talking about. And I had to let him know this is you they're talking about. So when you approach a lot of these guys that you call self-haters, coons, sellout, prideless, as I would say, I'm guilty of this myself, disregarding a person's experience. I don't like the whole excuse of, okay, I got treated better in this, or uh, I got, I don't have to sign with black, I got treated worse by blacks and everything. I do get that. But at the same time, if you're around nothing but black people, I mean, which is something you have to think about as well. You're going to get good and you're going to get bad if you're around one group of people all the time. So I understand some people's experience is very negative with black, but at the same time, if you've never experienced anything else, then, you know, but who was trying to speak?
I think that.
Well,
Oh, go ahead, Roger.
I just want to say something about the because you mentioned Patrick Ewing. My thing is we definitely need to take pride and we need to be looking at Madison Square Garden some type of way. I think black people see we unfortunately, we don't have a way to organize. Well, hopefully we do. We have a way to organize enough. We should have some type of response. Now, being from Chicago and growing up watching basketball the way I did, and I was in a good age to actually see the Bulls win all these championships, and we was kicking the next keister around. You know what I'm saying? And I enjoyed all that. I still don't like New York to this day. Okay, but but if Patrick Ewing getting harassed at Madison Square Garden, to me that's a whole other level. It was already bad enough that I heard about the Charles Oakley incident, and people could say, well, you know how Charles Oakley is. If you get him riled up, you're gonna basically have to escort him out the building because he ain't nobody to play with, plain and simple. But then when Spike Lee got messed over, it's like, okay, now everybody knows this dude been a season ticket holder for the longest. You know what I'm saying? That's basically the Knicks' biggest fan at this particular point. He's the most known Knicks fan. But when you tell me Patrick, you ain't getting bothered. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this Patrick Ewing. Why do he need anything to get into that facility? That should be the one spot he can go outside of his own home and walk around free. It ain't what it is today without Patrick Ewing. The Knicks done sucked for a long time. Should have had a good couple chances with him where they made it to the finals and all that. Cool. I'm never gonna give him a whole bunch of credit because we was rivals back in the day. But come on now, this is Patrick Ewing. If he can't walk around that building, out of all the people who should be able to walk around that building, if Patrick Ewing can't walk around that building, something's wrong. Plain and simple. And we need to start taking opportunities like this to you know what I'm saying? Like me, I would say you just cut off Madison Square Garden. You know what I'm saying? It should have been like some type of boycott, something. Something need to happen because this Patrick Ewing, this is not any old regular person. Now I know the man ain't played ball in a long time, but the dude got a jersey in the rafters.
But guess who was complaining about him? Charles Barkley.
Well,
I mean,
you got
Charles
to.
Barkley's in a tough
Yeah,
position because he married to a white woman. I'm just leave it
well,
at that.
well, he works for the mainstream media too.
Kind of hard to be effective though. Like if, because yeah, this is like a few times they've done this. So like, how do you? So the boycott, right? You can boycott ticket sales and whatnot, but I mean, I don't know how effective that's gonna be. Where like you have to really hit them hard, but then other people suffer if you hit them real hard. Like if you boycotted all of their games, that will be a much more effective and harder impact. But the thing is, then you're making black people suffer because who's playing the games? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, if you boycotting all the games, then you making black people from other teams suffer. So, and I mean, there's only 400 spots on total in the NBA. So,
no, true. I mean, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I hadn't thought about it because I literally just found out about this today.
oh, I'm not
But
for
I'm
the
just saying,
boycott. I'm just saying for like generally, like that's how people are gonna. Well, I don't make assumptions, but generally people will see that as like you're hurting other black people but in order for it to be effective, you have to, or else it's not effective.
I mean, true, but my thing is because of Charles Oakley, and then you got Spike Lee. You know what I'm saying? Like that's too much. Now you already done had two very bad. It looked bad when it's Charles Oakley. It looked even worse with Spike Lee. But come on, Joe. Like the dude got his jersey hanging in the rafters. If that's happening to him, everybody's subject to it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to any kind of action, like we can talk about it, but when it comes to like the action on it, like decisions have to be made, and if we can't make them, then we just kind of venting. Because again, I'm not for hurting people's jobs and shit, but the thing is, in order for any kind of action to be effective, you have to like you're not gonna get any power by not sacrificing shit. You have to sacrifice some power. You just don't have a choice because people aren't not going to give it to you. You have to take it, and typically when you have to take it, you have to give up something. You're gonna shed some blood. You're gonna feel some pain.
True.
Just like if we look at the bus boycotts back in the day during civil rights, a lot of people had to go to. They had to get to work. They depended on this transportation to get to work, and they opted out even at the expense of that type of pain, unmasked. Like a bunch of people decided I'm just gonna sacrifice.
Yeah. Let me say something about that. The Montgomery bus boycott is probably the most successful boycott in history for black people because that went on for 3 years.
Right, and they made a legit sacrifice. Like these people, they cut out a significant part of their life having to get to work and shit. I mean, yeah, and that's what you have to do. But that's why I was successful because they made a sacrifice.
You know what? And you right. And see, I would just wish I had a better way to organize it. I mean, not having more time, I would do something like, I would do a sacrifice. Like I'd be like, man, we should just boycott every NBA game. To my understanding,
Man,
this didn't even have anything to do with
no. Every NBA game with the Knicks in it.
Let me tell you something.
That'd be a great idea.
Barack Obama gonna come to y'all. Please finish the season. Please, like you did LeBron.
Well, we had to have a real boycott, not an Obama black boycott.
I say doing things the old way don't work no more. So, Roger, whichever way you thinking, I'm thinking the same way.
Well, Zero made a great suggestion though, because if it was because to my understanding, this didn't have anything to do with the Knicks themselves. This was Madison Square Garden. So Madison Square Garden is doing something when it comes to black people because the Knicks wasn't even playing. I believe Ewan is a coach for Georgetown. I believe it is. Well, I ain't gonna say that. I don't know what college it is, but he's a college coach, to my understanding. So he was there for some game. But come on, it's Patrick Ewing. This should be like a second home to this man. And after, Charles Oakley and Spike Lee done already happened, we can't say this is a fluke because it's the third time. So if you did boycott every Knicks game and allowed the Knicks to put some pressure on the situation, because I don't know what's going on with Madison Square Garden, but something needs to change. So
the commission would force the Knicks ownership to do something about it. It just start shuffling people around. They'll make people get the fuck out. They'll make the owner sell the team, just to get him up out of there. So get him out of the boys club and all that. Same way they did the dude in LA with the Clippers. You just got, but you got to hurt them.
But you know what though? It starts with the people that they have working for them that are in control, like security. That's important because first of all, when you're nobody anymore to people or people who have never heard of you in this new generation, they don't respect people like this man who is a legend, and that's to be respected. They just shouldn't do him, Spike Lee, or any of the others like that at all.
Right, but that's not their fault. It's not their fault that they grew up not knowing who that person is just because he
Yeah,
was famous a long time ago. This is
yeah,
why you punish the organization
yeah. 'Cause
because
I
then
mean,
they'll just
the elders say
But
that
that should be in the training. That
we
should
didn't
be in
know
the
we didn't know who he was.
Yeah, but it's
That's
hard
really
to say that when the man got a rafter in the jerseys. I'm just saying this is an extreme case of not knowing who this particular guy was. And then even Spike Lee said it himself when this happened to him, they had two guys escort him out the building, and the guys was on some we don't want to do it. They making us do this. So
oh,
this
okay,
is
so they
something
knew who he was.
okay.
exactly. So that only tells me this is somewhere coming above them. So now at some point you get to an owner. Everybody knows Spike Lee is a fan of the Knicks, and even he said himself they don't have no problem if I miss by one day to pay for my season tickets, they're gonna be on the phone hollering at me. So if it's that serious that he can't miss one day without them calling his home, then there's no reason for that to happen to him, and it definitely shouldn't happen to Patrick Ewing.
Right.
Uh, Well, how far do y'all think the manosphere need to go when it comes to things like this? Uh,
well.
is it ready
I
to go outside of YouTube? You
Man,
know,
I,
it
I
I
mean,
already is. The
I
manosphere is changing things, bro. If you ask me, I see things being changed because of the black manosphere, and people are making adjustments because of the black manosphere. It ain't gonna be necessarily the change we want. It ain't gonna happen right away. People gonna try to combat what black men are doing. LAR movement. I think he did it earlier today. He was saying something about black men boycotting America. There's certain things that black men are doing right now. You know what I'm saying? We're affecting a lot of people on a lot of different levels because a lot of disposable income that women had came from men. A lot of men ain't participating with women the way they used to. Businesses are suffering because of this. And then you add COVID-19 on top of it, it just made it worse. So people are trying to adjust to the black manosphere, in my opinion.
say
Okay,
it
but
depends on
those
who.
are not decisions that men are making. Okay, I would love the manosphere to be effective. To be effective out in the mainstream would be great. But the only problem with that is, like I was talking about earlier, all we're doing is pointing at chicks' behavior and going, see, that's not effective because they already know they have the power and they don't care. They literally don't care. Everything that's happening in society, as far as like men checking out of marriage and checking out of relationships and whatnot, that's not men's decisions.
You
That's
know
chicks
what?
having all the power and doing whatever the fuck they want. They ain't got nothing to do with men.
I want to answer the question for Y Scanner on what I think. I think it depends on who you follow and who you get your information from. However, I think that even though no one has been inducted, like as if this is a serious, fraternity or anything, I think that somebody need to get some bylaws together to the point to where, they're gonna follow these bylaws. Everybody's gonna have different opinions and they're gonna have different teachings, but I think that they should have the same, teachings to the point to where people will know what the manosphere stands for.
uh,
Uh, I'm not here to say who's right and who's wrong. I take a little bit from everybody. If I'm on your channel, that means that you got I'm learning something from you. That means that I'm here to support, whether we disagree, whether we, are friendly or not with each other. You know, that's just the way I look at it.
yeah.
Luck.
Well, well, I think
That's been like a 5-year
Uh,
conversation,
well,
like what
I
he's
think
talking about.
yeah, well, yeah, man, that could be, but I think it is having some type of effect because I don't think it's just about the content creators. When certain messages are spread and I get what you're saying about chicks in power, but if men aren't participating with them, they a lot of what they could do, they're not going to be able to do. Because a lot of women, we know they like to spend their money on what they want and try to use somebody else's money to take care of what they need. So if men are not participating with women the way they used to, a lot of stuff that they would normally pay for ain't gonna get paid for. And businesses are, there's certain businesses that are struggling. I heard people in the wedding businesses is struggling right now. So it's not just a black manosphere. It's a reaction to men in general. I just think the black manosphere is probably going to be the thought leaders of everything that's really going on, because black folks have always been a canary in the coal mine. Everything that's happening to us is going to be pushed on other communities as well. So we're just ahead of the game as far as that is concerned. But there is going to be damage because of this.
Yeah, I typically talk about the manosphere in general, like most of the time, because a lot of people are rewriting the history of this shit all the time. But as Coffee was saying earlier, is about the people needing to like have a goal. That's been a more than 5 to 7 year conversation about having a goal. I actually brought it up last year on all of the big wigs' channels, and each time they're like, "Well, solution talk is off the table. Having a goal is off the table." Like they just want to sit here and talk, and they literally said this, and the streams are still up. Like this is what it is. Like people are to the point where they just want to talk to chicks, and that's it. And again, I'm not pulling these opinions out of my ass. The evidence is all around you. Not only are people saying it out of their own mouth, but also the content creators and the people participating are also doing the same thing. Not only that, the most visible evidence we have is like I said, the most popular voices in the space, the voices that could actually have mainstream effect, are all on the same line of content, where it's just I told you so. Like, I told you you were like this. That is not effective. It looks effective. It's like I said, it looks effective. It looks like something is happening, but nothing is happening if you don't do anything.
It's more like once they have made it, sometimes they forget, and they have a particular following, for the up and coming, men in the manosphere, trying to get their channels up and everything. Maybe they have to find what's unique about them and what they want to teach, because everybody's not going to teach the same thing.
It's not just them. Like I said, even if you go below the most prominent voices, like most of the people who have content, a lot of the content is just based on, this is what you do, I told you. Again, it's more like, I told you you're like this. And again, that is not effective. It looks effective, but it's not.
And that's even if the man is not cut out for it. You're right. I get you.
That means that you cannot hope against the hopeless. And you have to have forward thinking. I do get that. Why? I often have to think about, why am I here? And I often will answer to give a black man's perspective. Do I want to be able to help people? Yes, I do. I do want to help. I do want to get to a solution. I do. But I know the way I want to go about it is not going to get very much support. I believe in this. I believe in going to get the solution. Let's talk about it. Let's execute. That's it. I think a lot of people who talk this way, who's keeping these kinds of conversations going, I don't think they believe they can do anything else.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true. I know. I like all the solutions I put forward. I know they're not going to happen, and I know this simply because of, and again, this is not an opinion I'm pulling from my ass. The evidence is people's behavior and reactions to what I talk about. So when you offer solutions, no one wants to really do anything. They just want to talk about it, because the second you talk about a solution that they don't like, they'll say something like, "Well, not everybody. That's a problem. If if you don't get not everybody on board, then it's not going to happen. If you have something that's actually going to make an impact and be effective, and people aren't on board because of their feels and shit like that. Like if you look around, people will say not everybody, but everybody's on the hope train of what fucking needle in the haystack theory. Everybody's like, oh, just find the right one, or just vet. You can vet all the way up to the divorce. You can vet all the way up until you find out she has an OnlyFans. You can do whatever you want, but the thing is, you just look at people's behavior. Most of it is the like I said before, the needle in the haystack shit, the vetting shit. Even the people that kind of aren't game adjacent, they're still on the same page as the people that are doing that because they believe in the same thing. They have a insane amount of hope, thinking that they can just talk women out of power. That is never going to happen. Another thing that we have in the manosphere is a problem is male self-aggrandizement. We keep putting ourselves in this position of gods, not understanding that we're human beings, and women are also human beings. Human beings do not want to be under the power or control of another human being. This is why we had what's called subjugation. This is why women were subjugated. No woman is submissive by default. It's impossible. They are human beings. They have a biological function in the world and is valuable, more valuable than ours, because we can produce eggs are more expensive than sperm. I'll put it that way. So unless men can actually start looking at things not from this hope perspective and start looking at it more in a more pragmatic way, and stop thinking about how it's going to affect women when the net effect is positive. The net effect is positive if men are in control, but if we keep worrying about how women are going to feel if we do this, or this is going to cause pain to women, we're never going to win, because they have the nuclear option and it's in their pants. And if we keep defaulting to protecting them first, we're never going to get anywhere. And if we keep trying to point out their behavior, they're just going to pull your whole card and say, yes, I do have this power. So what?
Okay, Roger. Before you respond, shout out to Ike's GME. Sir Anthony was asking if Ike had a channel. Ike does have a YouTube channel. Go ahead and spam that link in the chat, Ike, if you like. Yeah, Sir Anthony is his YouTube channel is self-titled, but like I said, go ahead and spam your link and let everybody know you're there. Ike is a very solutions-based person, very plan, or like he's a planner. He's very goal-oriented, and his content is dynamically different from a lot of the content creators who are repetitious in the Black manosphere. So definitely check Ike's channel out. Very intelligent guy.
Yeah, real quick, I want to give Ike an apology, because when I first saw him coming to the space, I thought he was on the same shit everybody else did, and I listened to one of his streams, and then I dismissed it as more hope talk. But then I started watching the streams again because of MOT. He did a 101 with him or something. So I got off on the wrong foot with that guy pretty early. So, my bad, man.
That takes a lot for a man like yourself to do that, because a lot of people don't apologize. They really don't.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was an asshole.
Yeah, well, I definitely got to...
So you went there, huh?
yeah. For anybody listening, Ike's channel is definitely solid, and it's definitely worth taking a look at.
Okay, what's the full name on it?
His name is Ike's GME. If you see his name in the chat, his channel is self-titled. Okay. Yeah. So you can search for him that way, but he does have a link in the chat as well. So yeah, definitely check Ike out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very educational.
Yeah. And now I'm gonna say that at the end of the day, if you're coming up with solutions, because I know my channel is solution oriented too, you know what I'm saying, but dealing with the back family, yes, and as someone mentioned it earlier, I talk about being a ruthless nice guy on a regular basis, which I'm gonna continue to do. Yeah, we can't be worried about how women gonna feel about every single thing. You know what I'm saying? As a leader, you got to understand, so you got to make tough choices sometimes, and you're not gonna be able to please everybody. And I'm at the point where there's no reason to even try. Why even try to please? Just do what's gonna work, and whoever it hurts, you just hurt them. They're just gonna be hurt. It just is what it is. But you got to keep pushing solutions forward. Those who want to take it on, gonna take it on. I think what a lot of people's problem is, or haven't adjusted to yet, the problems that we have in our community, a lot of them are not going to be fixed for us. They're going to be fixed for people behind us if we will start implementing the right behaviors. You know what I'm saying? We're being too selfish with it instead of being more selfless with it. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. Dang, I accidentally hit my mute button. Did y'all hear any of that?
Yeah, we
Yes.
heard
Yeah,
you.
yeah, I heard,
Okay.
I heard
Yeah,
Iris.
we
Yeah.
heard you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, yeah, people got to think of this in a more selfless manner. I'm doing something so that in 20 years from now it can look a lot better. 30 years from now it can look a lot better. But if you on some let's do this so it can be better for me, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but the probability is not there. You're gonna have to do this for folks in the future.
Yeah, it's long term.
And you know,
Yeah,
for
Yeah,
I
me,
talk about that all the
I'm
time.
doing it to make people find what's unique about them, you know, as a starting with black men first, you know what I'm saying? Because we need to know who we are, what is unique about us, you know what I'm saying? We need to fix us first, fix our frame, the main frame, and then build up, you know, then we're able to go out there in that world and get whatever it is that we want. And that's including a wife.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I,
it's gonna be
I,
some hurt feelings along the way, and it's gonna people going, just like in any other society, there's always gonna be a certain amount of people that's gonna fall by the wayside, and it's gonna be bad for them. Should we not progress the people and let a few and not let a few fall by the wayside, or just let the whole group fall by the wayside? See, that's the choice you got to make. Is it gonna be about the few, or is it gonna be about the many? I hate to get caught up in the few, but even if it's me, it just is what it is. We got to push forward.
Yeah, I talk about that all the time as far as like the because the way I look at it is you approach it society down, because if you don't want the society that you live in, then you might as well move. And that's why I speak about things from society down. It's just like when people talk about legacy and lineage and all that other shit, and they try to personalize everything. Well, I'm making the best decision I can for me and all this other shit. And it's like, well, you do live in a society. If you don't want it, or you're not doing anything to affect that society in a positive way, you're not going to have it. So when you make decisions, you can't just be on this me shit, because that's not how society works at all. Men in societies that work are all accountable for each other, accountable to each other, responsible for each other, and responsible to each other. That's how the society works.
And that's if you're in a group setting, because you got some of them who just don't care about nothing but
No,
them.
I understand that. I'm talking about like society at large. And I'm not saying everybody has to like be on this like personal evangelism goal to, get every man on board. What I'm saying is the decisions you make have to have society in mind as well as yourself, or else again, you don't have a society. That's the quickest way to get men on board. You don't have to have them all be on some monolith shit, but they do have to be on code with us with as far as like wanting to keep their society. So all this legacy and lineage shit they talk about, if you want your kids to have a society to live in, then you make decisions that go according to that, and then you are responsible to and for other people to do the same thing. Otherwise, you simply don't have you simply don't have the society. It's going to happen the same way it's happened in history over and over and over again, where another demographic of people come through, take your spot, and then you're gone forever.
There you go. That was saying it loud and clear. I was gonna say the same thing. Eventually, somebody gonna come up to your legacy. Whoever you think that lineage is, they gonna come take your stuff. And it's just that simple. So yeah, you do have to make decisions with society in mind as well as yourself. But I know it was this late, y'all. So I have to check out. But
All
it
right.
was great being here. I'll see y'all next time around. Long live the habitual line steppers.
long live, brother. Long live. But on that note, it's a very eventful Saturday for me. So we're gonna get final statements in, and I'm gonna call it an evening, and I'll see y'all later tonight, Saturday night. So, anybody who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Well, thank you, sir, for inviting me up and acknowledging me today.
Okay.
And this was a good topic. Uh, all of y'all brothers, y'all got something that we could take away and learn something from each other. Even Wise Skinner, and even though I know you're probably just trying to find yourself in this space, you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Coffee.
Okay, yeah, I'll tap out with with the following. Again, I'll just reiterate: you're gonna have to care about the society you live in, or you won't have one. One of the main problems we really have to start looking at is compromised men. There's like several groups of compromised men. There's men with I call it dudes with daughters, men with daughters. I'll just say it like that. I have daughters. I'm not compromised in that way, but a lot of men are. They cannot see the world through this male lens that we talk about all the time because they have a blind spot for their female kids, or a lot of dudes that have wives that have them in compromised positions. That is a big problem because these dudes are some of the most dangerous people here. They'll come in and be, team man, but they have a compromised position. So eventually they're going to show their hand, and when they show their hand, it's kind of too late. And I watch these dudes in the space, and people are cool with them, has made friends. No one challenges the rhetoric they start putting forth after they've kind of settled in, and this is all planned. And like I said, these things that happen, people kind of need to pay attention to them. So it's one of those things where I was talking about where, society down. When you catch dudes like this, and when I call this shit out, I get shit for it. You would call me asshole, but I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing it because these kind of people you had, like, they make it difficult for any of this stuff to move forward at all, because they're the same people who also want to look at girls or look at women and say aha and just only do that because they don't want to have any action go forward, because to them it hurts my wife, it hurts my daughter, it hurts the females in my family, that type of shit. Gotta get rid of them dudes. And other than that, I mean, I think everybody's like, I think we're getting there. It's just more of a thing where people have to start looking at the solutions as feasible versus unfeasible, because they can't get, because they want to only look at themselves and only themselves. So that's pretty much it.
Um, Thanks again, Kevin, for
All
letting me
right.
come up.
Thank you, Zero. Go ahead, Wise Skinner.
Oh, I just want to say thanks again for letting me come up. I actually skipped the top guy tonight. Of course, you know who the top guy is supposed to be. He was on tonight to come over here. But I just want to say, the rest of them guys, keep your head up. You got to have some pride. You got to have some pride in yourself. You don't want to be too prideful, because that gets you in trouble too. But keep your pride, and that's about it.
All right, Wise Skinner. Thank you. Thank you once again for making your presence felt here. And here you're becoming quite the regular. And I do appreciate you saying that. You say you skipped the top guy to be here. So, that's positive, and I do understand that whoever y'all watch out here in these YouTube streets, that's a choice, and that's your decision to make. And yeah, a lot of great points were made tonight. I was going to touch on something Judge said earlier, but it slipped right out of my mind. So
Hmm.
yeah, but they said dads with daughters are very dangerous. Um, I would confirm that, being that I am a dad with a daughter myself. But I'm dangerous in a different way.
Hmm.
My daughter, she's the cutest little thing. Her personality is like her personality is starting to shape up in a way that I know that will be dynamically different from a lot of the female attitudes that I see. And I could be saying that's due to bias. I could be, I mean, but I am very hopeful. But I have tons of I have tons of black female relatives, and I have a few black female friends, platonic friends. By the way, people say that that's impossible, but it's not. It really isn't. I mean, you just have to be a guy that doesn't think with your dick 100% of the time, and you can get through those kinds of friendships.
Yeah. Well, I
I
tell
got
you,
I got a very genuine dear friend that's a female, and she is very 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 good people.
mhm. Well,
And
I'll tell you what, uh, you're blessed because I didn't have a daughter,
okay.
and I was dating a girl that had a daughter. I really didn't date. We kind of got started, but it just didn't work out. And she had a daughter, and I was really wanting to get to know her so I could get to know her daughter because I didn't have one.
Oh, so what you were trying? Oh, you. Oh, okay. So you're just trying to
Yeah,
get some semblance of it, man.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And because I never had a daughter, man. I had two boys.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Well, I mean, having a daughter is one of the greatest things in the world, but it has not neutered me.
yeah.
In fact, I do like it makes me even more mad at embarrassing behaviors.
Oh
But
yeah,
we have to understand is it's going to be careful planning in order to fix it. No one's going to give up a position of power that easily. It's
yeah.
going to have to be through other means, and one of the solutions is we have to understand that
Mhm.
if we're in the greatest position that we can be in, then there is a lot of there's nothing we can't accomplish, but we do have a bunch of problems that go along with that, like we do have that these guys that are counterproductive with their Highlander complex, even though, and Zero kind of touched on this, even though they have the power to have that outreach so we can get to the solutions that we desire. There's something that's very appalling to me that manosphere guys would actually say, no, fuck these solutions. We just want to holler at chicks. That's a bit appalling to me. It's like
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it's like at the end of the day, and I think about this. What am I here for? Make sure I'm here for a reason. What am I here for? And you see these guys, they got these bigger followings. They could make a difference. That really are here just for the same superficial bullshit reasons as some of these others around here, and that's really disappointing to hear.
yeah.
I mean, that you have someone that wants solutions and it seems like it falls on deaf ears. So that is problematic. That really is. A lot of these bigger guys, believe it or not, I feel, oh God. No,
Yeah.
I've seen this. I've actually seen this. They go to channels that are demoralizing to black men.
Really?
And they will sit up there and talk and have a little pep rally, cheer session, all that shit with these people. I really hate to see black men on panels where people are shitting on black men and they like rah rah shish boom bach type motherfuckers.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, I mean, it's that right there. Like it kind of gets under my skin. It's like but I also wonder is why aren't these guys referred to as fuck boys, prideless niggas, basically, you know.
mm,
But that's pretty much gonna be it from me from tonight. You can only talk about something so much, and the the thing that we have to start getting to is the move. How are we gonna move forward conversation,
right.
especially as the difficulties that we experience and the shit that we see throughout this world as uh, all all of that which encompasses our experience as black men. I really
I can see a tiny little light there. You know how
okay.
you look down the tunnel and you see just a little bit of light. That's the way I see the manosphere. That some light there at the
I
end of the
said,
tunnel. You know, but
as Jingro said, pussy is undefeated.
I gotta get out of here, Kev. I appreciate
Okay, yeah,
it.
yeah. I was about to say like what Whistler said in Blade in a deleted scene. He said one hair off that thing will drag a train down a 3 mile grade. Well, appreciate it, Wise Skin.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
okay. I'll holler at you.
All right, all right. Peace. Oh yeah, shout out to Stoic One. Yeah, I'm about to bring this to a close. Man, actually that was my closing statement that turned into kind of a combo. But my suggestion to black men is to keep your pride intact if you have any, get your pride intact if you don't, and I mean, well, why am I even talking to you if you don't even have any pride as a black man? Seriously, I don't like to talk. I don't like to communicate with the defeated lot because that right there is a waste of time. And those are the kind of people who are dangerous as well. A person who believes that there is nothing left, a prideless black man, that motherfucker right there is capable of just about anything. And on that note, I am out. So just make sure y'all tune in for the next 2 nights. Thank you once again for all the guests that come up to join me on the panel. It is much appreciated, and you're all invited. Well, you're invited black, of course, but you're all invited back. So, yeah, I don't think that. I mean, there's only one guy that I don't want back on my channel, and that's been long removed. But everybody else, hey, thanks for coming up and making this a better broadcast for everyone that is watching. It's real shit. So, all right, that's it for me. And as always, long live the habitual line steppers. In Kev we trust. See y'all Saturday night. Peace.